then we come up here and we give you a gimmick. And I'm not just talking about we just throw a gimmick. I'm giving you a gimmick, finisher, a backstory, a name. I'm giving you pretty much everything you could possibly want for your My Career next year on WWE 2K20. We actually have two $10 patrons this time around too. So I came up with these two gimmicks. I'm gonna say them out loud. I'm gonna let you guys tell me what you think of these gimmicks. Okay.
Well, we kind of collabed on I think,
yeah.
right?
Well, we collabed on Hyperwolf's gimmick. We collabed on that one. Actually, we collabed on the corn dog one too because we were talking about the backyard stuff. So Phoenix, I'm gonna let you chime in on this stuff, and you tell me what you think of these incredible gimmicks.
Talking
okay.
about some corn dogs. All right. Let's get it.
There's some stuff here. Okay, so the first $10 patron here is Hyperwolf. He's been a longtime viewer of me, and I think Tony too.
Yeah, he's always out in my streams. He's a good dude.
Yeah. So, anyways, he needed a gimmick, he needed a finisher, and he needed a backstory. So I was like, if I was to throw him into an NXT generator and take his name and just kind of go, I think that if I took Hyperwolf and I had to make it a name, how does the name Dan Wolf sound? That sounds pretty NXT. That sounds right. Does that not sound NXT to you?
Yeah,
that sounds very NXT to me. I can see him going for the North American Championship in 3 months.
The Dan Wolf. All right, so Dan Wolf. Now I have to explain to you why I did this. So it's Dan Wolf, the Dairy King. And you're probably wondering, well, why is he the Dairy King? It's because Hyperwolf, for damn near 9 straight months, every time he came into the stream, said he had a Dairy Queen Blizzard. For 9 months in a row. Always the Strawberry Blizzard. So I was like, okay, then I'm going to call you the Dairy King. Now, we had to come up with a backstory for the Dairy King, right? So, like, what could possibly be the Dairy King? I was like, well, it can't be like a Chad Gable type of gimmick, it can't be something like straightforward, Olympic background. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. He's the Dairy King, right? This is a dumb gimmick and he needs a dumb backstory. So I was like, all right, well, let's go for it. Once upon a time, guys, there was a kingdom of dairy. It was founded on the backs and hard work of the villagers as they harvested strawberries for the blizzards for their king and their queen. Well, one day the queen was sexually frustrated and had enough. She said, I have had enough of this weak dick game, and I had enough of these blizzards. So you need to get your sorry ass out on the street. So she kicked out the Dairy King, Dan Wolf, and out he went. And after months and months of going town to town trying to find work, he just couldn't find anything until one day he was founded by a pro wrestling promoter named Jeff Jarrett. By God.
Oh,
by God. TNA needed a worker. And he said, you know what? You sound perfect, Dan Wolf. And there you go. He had to become a pro wrestler to pay the bills, and he's the Dairy King, Dan Wolf. And you know what his finisher is, boys? It's the Frozen 4 leg lock. By God. Tell me that gimmick isn't. Wow.
Now, does he get that arch like Charlotte with the figure?
I mean, he gets in there, man. Well, not too much because weak dick game, but he definitely gets in there a little bit.
I'm just saying, if that's not the route of a babyface in 2019, I don't know what is. Let's be honest here. Like,
I mean,
that's
NXT's coming up on Wednesdays. They need some gimmicks, man. I mean, the Dairy King, Dan Wolf.
When you were describing this, I was for some reason I was like thinking like Nigel McGuinness would be playing this Dairy King.
Nigel McGuinness has weak dick game?
That's what I was going to say. Well, then.
That's what I was just like, I don't know why. Dan Wolf, Nigel McGuinness, like that would just picture Nigel McGuinness.
All them pendulum lariats got you nowhere, brother.
Right? The Tower of London did you nothing. Like, good Lord, dude.
I don't know why. I just picture
Nigel McGuinness is probably just hanging out. He's like, damn, dude. What'd you do that for?
I don't know why. It's just for some reason. Dan Wolf, that's like...
So, all right, let's hear it. So, out of 10 stars, because obviously we run on a 2 times Meltzer gimmick here. Out of 10 stars, what do you give the Dairy King, Dan Wolf?
I give the Dairy King Dan Wolf about a 8, but then again, I think about the idea of Jeff Jarrett sitting around a creative room and throwing a dart at a piece of paper and going, "Hey, Desmond Wolf was a thing. Let's just use Wolf for Dan Wolf." I think it's a great thing. I'm gonna give
That's
it a 10.
what I was thinking.
It's a 10.
Thank you.
Game though might take it down to a 9.
No, come on now. Look, everybody can't be a stud. All right, everybody can't be a stud. You gotta have somebody in there. You gotta make the studs look good. See, it's pro wrestling. Even when we're talking about dick game, it's pro wrestling.
This man is going from the mid card trying to rise himself all the way up, pun intended, all the way up to a number 10, but he can't just quite get there.
Well, maybe if he gets some Blue Chew, things will turn around for him, right?
Ooh.
True. Is this modern day Jeff Jarrett or like NWA TNA Jeff Jarrett discovering him?
Well, Tony, this probably predates Jeff Jarrett altogether, as we talked about a fucking kingdom of villagers harvesting strawberries. So this is probably like Jeff Jarrett 100 years ago. So yeah, yeah, maybe not. And this is also the TNA before TNA. So you had tried to do TNA like 10 times before. It's a cycle, and it's just how it works.
It was like that Australian TNA type
yeah,
thing.
Yeah. It's like it was also like what was the one that King La King or something, King Ra King or something. You remember that one?
King Ra King. No, I know what you're saying, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, Scott Steiner just like harassed a bunch of people every day. That was really good. I think it was called King La King or something. King
or something. Ring
King. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I remember.
Ran that thing.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
The only thing I remember from that was Eugene being a doctor.
Oh, they did have Eugene, didn't they?
He was a doctor too.
What a phenomenal run there. They did really, really good. Like they had a sold out crowd, I think, every single time. They said, I think we're going to drop this. Which is TNA.
Can he be the dairy ring cooking?
Oh, he could. It depends on where they're at. I think that changes with time.
Yeah.
But they just drop it after a year anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's okay.
I do find it funny though that a guy that has a weak dick game, his first wrestling company is the acronym TNA.
Of course it is. That's a double J or a JE double F gimmick right there. That's what I'm talking about. So now we have the second $10 patron, and his name is Corn Dog, or also known as Trevor. So I'm gonna let you guys. So all right, here's the deal with Trevor. He's super into deathmatch stuff. Like that's his favorite stuff is yarder shit.
Got you.
So this is the gimmick here, boys. So his name is Trevor Toxin, and his gimmick is the yarder. He is the yarder. Now, what is the yarder Trevor Toxin's backstory? The alliteration, by the way. We're getting him ready for a Fed run already. We're ready to go. So, the backstory here for Trevor Toxin. After years of watching Mick Foley kill himself on a weekly basis, Trevor Toxin decided to make a MySpace to follow along with his local Yarders Federation Hardcore Extreme Mega Cool Wrestling. Now, shortly after adding Hardcore Extreme Mega Cool Wrestling to his top 8 on MySpace, HEMCW hit him up to wrestle for him. They gave him the name Trevor Toxin based on nothing. It just sounded cool, and that's all it takes in backyard. So his finisher also came from the same line of thinking. His finisher was a Swanton Bomb.
Oh,
but it's not just a Swanton. It's called the Toxin Bomb. You know why it's called that? Because his name is Trevor Toxin. And why was it the Swanton Bomb?
He does it?
Of course he does. And right to his head too. He holds him up right to his head. He's like, yeah. Oh yeah. And you know why he did that? Because Jeff Hardy was cool as fuck. And everyone that came from a backyard wrestling field likes Jeff Hardy. Because that's just how it is. Now, out of 10, guys, let me hear it. Let me hear it. Go ahead. Drop the 10s on me. Drop the 10s.
I feel like there's definitely a market, but
this is an SVR 2007 created character if I've ever heard it my entire life, and I want respect on Trevor Toxin.
I feel like all the SVRs up until like Probably no. Actually, all the SVRs, and then once they switched over to WWE, I don't think I saw any calls like this anymore because they all switched to AJ Styles ripoffs. But
they
back
did.
in the day,
it was Jeff.
I could definitely see it, Jeff. Yeah, I could definitely see it being. Yeah, okay. That sold him over for me. I'll give him a 9.
Yeah,
solid 9.
I'll bump him up to 10 if you put 3 X's in toxin.
Okay, I can do
like
that.
that's perfect.
Do we alternate the caps too? So it's X, uppercase X,
Make it like a
lowercase
gamer
X.
tag.
Yeah,
And then like a 0 instead of an O.
And, I think that could work. I don't know. The 0 might be a little too much because then they use those free fonts and sometimes they don't have numbers.
So just a square.
So maybe we don't put that. But the
It
X
would work
is
though because
definitely.
it's still a square.
Yeah, I guess you would have to. Yeah, you'd really have to stretch
But
it
I
out
just
there
want
a
the
little
3
bit.
X's, like little X, big X, little X.
Yeah, I think that could work. He definitely. That sounds like a definitely like a tournament of death thing. Like I definitely could see him walking into that and doing some stuff. That'd be fun. Well, those gimmicks, I think they turned out good. I mean, right?
I'll give him a 10.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Perfect 10.
That's hilarious with the XXX and the styling of it. That's
Or
great.
you could do toxin, TOXXSIN.
Oh, we could do that. Sounds like that's when he gets to the WB and they're like, well, we can't use Trevor Toxin, so we'll use Toxin. And they're like, oh yeah,
And then they copyright it, and then if he leaves, he can't use that name anywhere ever.
What would be his signature deathmatch weapon?
Ooh, what would it be? A
The
fork?
light tube?
No, the light tube's too easy. The fork.
He's gonna just bring out a metal spoon from his mom's kitchen.
A
and just
spoon
come
would
out
be
with it.
hardcore as hell. Like he tries to stab people with a spoon.
It's got to be
Spork.
rusty, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the
a
rusty,
rusty
spoon. Yeah, dude.
There's this move.
Oh man, that reminds me of the salad fingers thing. Oh my god, do you remember that? That might be dating. I don't know. Phoenix,
I
how old
remember
are
salad.
you?
22.
Okay, that might date him a little bit, but you remember salad fingers, right, Tony?
Newgrounds.com, brother, back in the day.
Do you know what that is, Phoenix?
It sounds familiar, but I can't like put an exact salad finger onto it. So no.
Yeah, I think I found that on albino black sheep back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
used to
found. I thought I was dating
I used to
myself there
steal all the
too.
Newgrounds cartoons. I remember. Back in
Hell
the day.
yeah, it was basically like Newgrounds, and then it like just picked the best ones and stole them.
Yeah.
And that was the internet.
That was a wild, wild west of the internet back in the day.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, that was a good
crazy.
time though. That was a good time. We had a bunch of people do the $10 tier, so we have a bunch of gimmicks and backstories and finishers to give out. And half of them have to do with dicks. So let's talk about them, baby.
Wait. Can we give a shout out to hitting over 1,000 on Twitter?
Nope.
All right. Well, not in the agenda.
Well,
All right,
thank
let's
you
cross it
guys
off.
for doing the Twitter stuff. More shit posts will be coming your way soon.
1,047 followers on Twitter.
More
all right?
incredible.
That's
Nakano
important.
photos will be coming your way.
Yeah, I'm the connect. I got you guys. I got what you need.
More Jim Ross cowboy hat emojis.
That thumbnail is like legendary status. If there's like a Hall of Fame for thumbnails, I think that goes in it. Just
Agreed.
Jim Ross with the cowboy hat emoji.
That's
what
like
it's all
YouTube
about.
2012 or I don't know.
Yeah, that should have hit
There we
algorithm.
go.
I don't know how it didn't. I mean, it's on brand and everything. Whatever.
Because you're not verified anymore.
No, they changed it. Did you see it? They switched it over, man. We're
I
good.
did,
Everything's good.
Cowards, right? Cowards.
Hell yeah, dude. If you're gonna take it away from me, at least take it away from me, you fucking bitch. don't come back. Don't come back at the last second and say, "Oh, you're just kidding about that." No, you already told me. I already got mentally prepared for this. So you go ahead and take it from me.
Oops, I didn't know that people would be upset. My bad.
Man, fuck that community feedback. I'm staying strong.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted them to do. And look, if you're gonna at least do something, at least follow through. WWE's good at that. They'll fucking take something
They
away
gotta,
and go,
yeah,
fuck
she's
you.
gotta pull a Vince McMahon and be like, "This is the way it is. You don't know what you want."
That's
You don't
exactly
want a
what
check
Vince
mark."
does. So I think I just expect it. When someone tells me something's happening and like it sucks, I just assume, well, it's happening anyways. I mean, they do it with the Saudi show, so why not everything else?
Oh,
So we had a couple of patrons here. We're gonna go down the list. I'm gonna start with Gigi, who was actually a moderator on my Discord. Shouts out.
Ooh,
So I'm gonna
Tough
tell you
work.
guys these gimmicks, these finishers, these backstories. I want you guys to tell me what you think out of 10. Give me a rating out of 10, and we can talk about them. I think you'll like all of them. All right, so this was for Gigi. His gimmick is the King of Catch, Julian Sakura. His finisher is called the Cerberus Lock, which is a Fujiwara armbar. And his backstory a former anime journalist turned cat shoot fighter, Julian Sakura brings a bit of kawaii into his ass kicking. After being let go from a famous anime website, crunchysandwich.com, Julian joined a BJJ club to make sure that no anime avatar geek-ass loser on Twitter can ever catch him slipping again. Nicknamed the kawaii ass kicker by his fans, if he catches you in his Cerberus lock armbar, you have no option but to tap out. Is that not the best thing you've ever heard?
It's perfect.
Be honest.
It's perfect.
It is perfect.
I'm giving it a 10. It's got a 10 right away.
Good. That's not even one with a dick in it yet. This is great. We're starting off hot.
I like the anime enthusiast.
Yeah, I like that too. That was the best part about it. It's like I didn't expect that.
I like to imagine
Crunchy's-
that once you stop being an anime journalist, you turn into a cat shoot fighter. That's just the
You
only.
basically
possible
described
option.
every single one of your fans, James. So like, it's perfect. Perfect there.
Yeah, I think he'll very much enjoy that one. So
Yeah.
I like crunchysandwich.com.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I can't, we ain't sponsored or nothing, so we gotta keep it,
Use code DEADLOCK at crunchysandwich.org.
we gotta keep it, keep it on the low here. We
We gotta create all these guys and do a 2K20.
Oh, could you imagine like a
Universe.
Rumble or something?
Yeah, we can
yeah.
do Fire Pro. That probably
Okay, or that.
Mention
Or that.
2K. Yeah, we could do Fire
Let's
Pro.
not do that one, but we'll do Fire Pro. So we had Cherry Chase, and I decided to give him the gimmick, the Rad Dad Jim Cherry. His finisher is the dad joke, and it is a stretch muffler. And his backstory, he might be a dad, but he is the Rad Dad. He's the dad all the other dads wish they could be. He drops his kid off at soccer practice, and all the moms stare. They wish they could be with the man of the stature of the Rad Dad Jim Cherry. And his finisher, the stretch muffler, might be called the dad joke, but it's anything but when he locks it in. What did you think of that?
That's my guy. That's my guy.
He's got dad bod too, right?
Of course he
Please.
does. Oh, absolutely. He looks like Ric Flair.
Joey Janela.
Okay. And he comes out like Road Dogg, but tells a dad joke at the beginning of this.
He's got the knee pads around his shins, of course.
It's me. It's
Ooh,
me.
okay,
It's
all
that
right,
DAD.
That's perfect. Even better. The
It was
Rad
perfect.
Dad Jim Cherry. The dad joke might be one of the most lethal finishers in the game.
And I
Just
love how
can't
it's the
stop
stretch muffler.
Yeah. Stretch muffler.
Has me
Well, I
rolling
was like, what's
already.
something a dad could do? Yeah, he could definitely do that. So,
Stretch muffler.
I like it.
Perfect.
I like it.
I'm
all
making
right.
them.
So,
right now.
yeah, you need, if you want to, go in, and I think you could do it on Fire Pro. You could probably make most of these.
Yep.
We had Just Omega Man, which I'm just assuming from this that he is either a Mega Man fan or a Kenny Omega fan or both. So I decided to bring that into the gimmick a little bit. For his gimmick, he is the prototype Austin Omega. His finisher
Ooh.
is the Mega Buster, which is just an Emerald Flosion. And his backstory, he was created in a laboratory somewhere off the coast of Don't Fucking Worry About It Island. Austin Omega is the first known wrestler with the last name Omega, the prototype, if you may. Time passed and more wrestlers with geeky ass Apex Legends tendencies untook the name Kenny Omega, but Austin will forever be the original Omega. He might not be as refined as the rest, but his raw strength and power set him above all. He also has a big fucking gun for an arm. So, like, yeah, I mean, that works, right?
He also has a big fucking gun for an arm.
Yeah, he doesn't actually wrestle. He just shoots dude. He kills him. Like, people die. 'cause of the dude. Yeah, it's really crazy out here. The prototype's actually,
Ooh.
yeah, he's a robot.
I'm just living for these narration from you. This is perfect.
I think, like, yeah, I mean, honestly, if I wanted to create a federation, I definitely think I could. I got a lot of things in the vault here.
If you wanted to build a wrestler from the ground up.
Yeah, it would be the prototype Austin Omega with a gun for an arm. How do you beat a man with a gun for an arm? We had
More
Nick-
dick jokes.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was about to say we're actually getting into the dick gimmick, so I'm excited.
Ooh, okay.
I thought I
Oh,
would
that
save them.
wasn't one. The gun
Surprisingly
for an
not.
arm? That wasn't one. All right.
No, that was not a dick related. That was like a legit shoot. That's a gun.
He's gonna shoot you and you are gonna die. That's a real gun.
Yeah, that's actually yep. We had
His finisher.
Nick Jai, whose gimmick is all sack Nick Rack, and his finisher is the Rack Driver. And here is my man All Sack Nick Rack's backstory. So, from a small child, Nick always knew that his okay, let me start over. From
You
a
had
small
like a long pause and went right into it. Okay,
So,
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. From a small child, Nick knew that his ball sack was larger than the normal child's. This abnormal ball sack allowed for an overflowing amount of testosterone to flow through Nick's body, allowing him to become an absolute monster in stature. 650 bench, 950 squat, 1,000 deadlift. These are his warm-up numbers. These are not even his working set numbers. All sack Nick Rack hits his patented Rack Driver, and you'll be wishing that you faced someone with a regular-sized ball sack. I think that gimmick rules.
I just keep thinking of an episode of South Park where they bounce around on their ball sacks. That's what he looks like.
Essentially, give or take. I mean, like that's all the ladies call him all sack Nick Rack. By the way, the Rack Driver is just a backdrop driver, so he just drops you on your neck, and that's the end of that. I mean, this dude is. I mean, when you think of someone in size, you're looking at Brock Lesnar at least times 3. The testosterone flowing through this man's body is insane.
With a huge ball sack hanging down.
Yeah.
Like it barely fits in his trunk.
He's got to pack it back in there.
Every time.
There's a lot going on here.
Okay,
so we had.
That's pretty great. That one's pretty great. It's going to be hard to top.
I think so too, till we get to these. All right. So now we have ex-Jag, whose gimmick is Seaman Michael Big Bud Roberts. And his finisher is the clip wings, and that's just the angel's wings. And I'm going to give you the backstory for Seaman Michael Big Bud Roberts. He's got 2 nicknames. He's got a nickname in the middle of his name and also before him. So, after being discharged from the Navy for being the baddest motherfucker on the planet and having violent tendencies, Michael Big Bud Roberts Seaman took his aggressiveness out on skateboarders in some random park in New York. After getting arrested and put on video on YouTube, one of the skateboarders he took back went on Twitter and started berating Seaman Michael Big Bud Roberts. And with his last breath, as Michael Big Bud Roberts took the skateboarder by the neck, the skateboarder said, "MDK all motherfucking day." Michael Big Bud Roberts then looked up MDK as he was curious and found Nick Gage, who also has violent tendencies. And then from that point forward, Michael Big Bud Roberts spent his time in the squared circle, inspired by the skateboarder that he choked out, and we're not sure if he's dead or what the case may be, but he's definitely injured. And MDK.
He's injured.
And that's Seaman Michael Big Bud Roberts.
Seaman. Discharged from the Navy.
I like how you put Seaman at the beginning and then it was at the end at one point, so it's perfect.
Well,
was the discharge part pun intended?
Yeah, of course it was.
I knew
this entire gimmick was
excellent.
It was crafted from fucking stone. This gimmick cannot be beat here. Now
I want you to do like Mother Goose nursery rhymes, like Hansel and Motherfucking Gretel. It just comes out of nowhere. It's just like, along came a nice little motherfucking
with a hard ass cock. That's all we got up here, baby.
Gee.
Now we got 2 more. Okay, these are 2 of my favorites too. All right, so this one's for X3. And his gimmick is hardwood, rich good. His finisher is the deep 7.5. It's the boss man's. You got it. His finisher is the deep 7.5, and it's the boss man slam.
He doesn't spin, just straight old school boss man slam.
Boss man
7
slam.
deep.
So hardwood, rich good. What is his backstory? What could it be? After being discovered on OnlyFans by wrestling promotion Shitty as Fuck Wrestling, Hardwood Rich Good will go on to use his special talents in the squared circle. The women in the crowd wanted to be with them. The men in the ring wanted to be in them, and the people on the internet wanted to be around them. The sky is the limit for hardwood, rich good, and his deep 7.5 finish. And P.S. he still does OnlyFans on the side if you want to check it out. that was one of my favorites
so far. That's the best one.
I love it. I love it.
That's the best one.
Does he have an Instagram? No, he's got an OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. He doesn't have anything else.
Hardwood, rich good is it's snappy. It's snappy. It's got something to it. Pops.
Hell yeah. And he has like a pretty big wiener. So like that's cool too. So that works out for him.
And that 7 deep.
That's always good. 7.5, man. Give him that half too.
7.5.
Yeah.
Men want to be in them.
That's a good line.
That didn't escape me. I got that part. I got that part.
All right, and the very last one, Dada Too Toxic, and his gimmick is Long Haul Chris Dawkins. His finisher is the Broadway, which is a second rope Canadian destroyer.
Ooh,
his
okay.
backstory. Long Haul Chris Dawkins. His entrance is at least 20 minutes. His matches are at least 60 minutes. You know, when you see Chris Dawkins, you're in it for the long haul. This doesn't stop in the wrestling ring. Chris Dawkins takes 45-minute showers and leaves no hot water for anyone else. Chris Dawkins waits 20 minutes to eat an ice cream cone before it melts all over his hand and he can't even eat it. Chris Dawkins takes 60 minutes to run a mile so that all his classmates have to sit around and wait for him to do the other 3 and everyone's telling him to hurry the fuck up. He said, I'm in it for the long haul, baby. Once Chris gets to where he's good and ready, all it takes is one Broadway finisher to put his opponent down for his patented 10 count. Now that's good. Tell me that ain't not a long haul. That's pretty much, I was like, The Undertaker does take a long time to get to the ring. Let's make a whole character about it.
Yep.
Just so to give you a little.
You honestly have me thinking, you're blowing my mind because you have me thinking now like every wrestler's gimmick is based on a dick joke. And now I'm thinking like Hangman Page is a dick joke.
Oh, it absolutely is. I think all characters are related to dicks in some way.
Absolutely.
True.
Right.
I mean, you could literally like name anybody in the world, and I'm sure at some point they did something regarding a wiener. So, I think even goes for 80s wrestling, honestly. I think 80s wrestling more than anything.
Yeah,
everyone's name in 80s wrestling was like Dick. I don't know why. That was a really popular name in the 80s. Every jobber was like Dick Bart. I don't know why everyone was named that.
Dick Bart. if one of the Patreons is a Dick Bart next time, I tell you what.
8 gimmicks here we got to go through here that I came up with, and these might be my best ones yet. So are you boys ready to roll down this gimmick list? Because it's impressive.
Let's go down 316 Gimmick Street, brother.
It's so impressive. Okay, so Mike C was a $10 patron, and I decided to give Mike C the gimmick Godspeed Mike Nitrous. Can you imagine what his gimmick is? Can you think about it just from the name? His finisher
Nitrous and speed in the same.
Yeah, what could it possibly be? It could be anything. His finisher is the Nitrous Kick, which is Sami Zayn's Haluva Kick. And here's the backstory for Godspeed Mike Nitrous. After getting struck by lightning in the middle of a street against his fellow gang members in a street race, Mike woke up in the hospital with slightly faster and stronger legs than a normal human being by only a slight amount. He realized that he can activate these special leg abilities on command, and especially in the squared circle, Mike Nitrous is known for his lethal legs and his Nitrous Kick finisher.
Lethal legs.
His lethal legs in the ring. That was pretty. That's one of my guys. I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, the whole struck by lightning thing is definitely believable.
His slightly faster speed, and then you close it off by going by only slightly.
Yeah, I mean you can't make him overpowered. You know, he's still underdog. So
emphasis on slightly. Yeah.
We have Nick, whose gimmick is Cynical Nick Moto. His finisher is the Cynical Suplex, which is a variation of the Japanese Ocean Cyclone Suplex. I was like, oh, perfect. This is good. His backstory for Cynical Nick Moto. Nick grew up in the bad part of town. He had to look after himself from the day he was born. The first words out of his mouth were, piss off, bitch. Nick makes sure he looks out for himself in the ring with his dangerous finisher, the Cynical Suplex. You get it? So like he just looks out for himself. He's like a lone wolf.
Yeah.
I thought
He's
that's
cynic.
dope. Yeah. Okay, you get it. He gets it. He gets it.
Piss off.
Yeah,
Piss
he
off.
gets it.
What the audience doesn't know is that all you're doing is just taking every single Joshi wrestler's backstory. And just,
Well, yeah. Io Shirai was struck by lightning in a street race.
what happened? You guys didn't know that?
That's how she got her moonsault finisher. After she was struck in a Honda Civic. We had Dylan Mcneil. His gimmick is Double Up Dylan Davis. Yes, as you can see, I like alliteration.
Double up. I love it.
His finisher is the Royal Flush, which is a last chancery submission. And his
Good
backstory is once a renowned poker player known for his ability to double up and win every time, Dylan fell on hard times. His wife left him, took the kids. He doesn't get the upper hand in arguments and Xbox Live lobbies anymore, and he's got a mountain of debt. Dylan now solves his problem in the ring as he tries to rebuild his life with his special Royal Flush submission maneuver.
I know who that was modeled after.
Yeah, me, baby. Kevin from The Office.
The Xbox Live models.
I was thinking with Tubby.
Yeah, that can work too. Double. Well, I don't know. Double up and win every time. Or something like that. We had Levi Hollowich, and I gave him the gimmick Dopamine Levi Johnson. His finisher is the Kim Buster, which is a brain buster. And his backstory is Levi has a very special ability to release dopamines in his brain when he steps in the squared circle that allows him to get a mental rush to take down his opponents. This dopamine stockpiles until it's all released, and he's able to use his Kim Buster finishing maneuver. No one has kicked out of it or lived to see the day.
You can tell James looked up the word dopamine and just wanted to apply it like 7 times here.
Someone just told him that word in passing. He's like, wait, I can use it.
Do not question genius. Okay?
He's like, dopamine sounds tight. I'll look that shit up. Oh, whoa, that's what it means.
Do not question greatness, okay? Teeny Weeny Boy, another patron. His gimmick.
Shit.
Oh boy.
Can you know what this gimmick's about?
Oh, yeah, just a bit.
All right. Yeah, it is just a bit. All right. So Teeny Weeny Boy's gimmick is small package Ben Cooper. His finisher is the perfectly average driver.
That'd be awesome if his finisher was just a small package.
No, that's what it is. His finisher is a perfectly average driver, and it's a small package driver. And small package Ben Cooper's backstory. It's not about the size of the boat, but the motion of the ocean, boys. Ben has read this on the internet hundreds of times. Twitter, Reddit, Tumblr. It's not the size of the boat, it's the motion of the ocean. That's what Ben wakes up to every single day. That quote and that quote alone has driven him to be the best that he can possibly be. He does not have time to rest on his laurels. He has to learn the ways of the ocean. And that's why his perfectly average driver proves that sometimes the best things come in most perfectly average sized packages.
Story time.
Isn't that incredible?
Like learning the ways of the ocean.
Yes, dude. That's fucking storytelling, man.
We'll go with it.
Vince is shaking. He is shaking. All right, so
for perfectly average.
I have that King for a day, and I made his gimmick the Royal Guard Jack King. His finisher is the Throne Breaker, which is a lumbar check. And here's his backstory. Spending most of his life protecting the king of his nation, Jack King now plays by the beat of his own drum. His finisher, the Thronebreaker, is known across the land as one of the most dangerous moves in the biz. And maybe one day Jack will be the king of his own squared circle. Dun dun. If NWA is trying to hire, like, hey, I can write your gimmicks for you, man. Like, I'm ready. I could turn anybody into a millionaire. That's just how it works.
I'm ready. Let's
NWA
go.
don't need no gimmicks.
Yeah, we're just men around here. We're just big men. That's what we are. No boys here in the NWA. Just
a couple of big
men.
hosses going at it.
Yeah, we're just a bunch of men doing men things out here in the NWA. All right.
Should be the men WA.
Fuck
and
your
we're
king.
men. They're men. Everybody's men out here. All right, and we got the last one. We have Xenon AMVs. His gimmick is Old Soul Xavier Jones, and his finisher is the Back in My Day lock, which is a single leg Boston Crab. His backstory. His backstory is back in my day. His backstory is
it.
I knew that shit was coming.
So, okay. Also, Xavier Jones. Back in my day, we finished guys with single leg Boston crabs, and these motherfuckers liked it. Xavier Jones couldn't do a damn 450, couldn't do a damn Canadian destroyer, and he definitely didn't do no damn Spanish fly. But what Xavier Jones can do is tell a goddamn story that none of these kids can tell nowadays.
Best one.
And that is also Xavier Jones.
We need to
Back
start
in
our
my
own
day.
start a new pod, a retro pod just called Back in My Day.
We should.
Basically, I just took, basically for that one, I was like, I'm just going to take my 24/7 action championship gimmick and I'm going to just like alter
I
it a
know,
little bit.
yeah, because I heard like almost all of that promo.
Back
Yeah,
in
of course
my
you did.
day.
Yeah, but see, that's the best thing about old promos is Ric Flair cut the same promo for like 20 straight years, but like
Yeah.
he changed like 3 words and he's like, that's
Go
good.
and tell me, have you ever had a beer? 2 beers.
2 beers.
3 beers.
That's good. That's good storytelling right there. People just don't get it. These kids,
Yeah.
especially now these kids nowadays.
They don't get it. They don't get it. These kids.
We had Blake Xavier, Good Crescent, and Michael Robinson. So I had to come up with a few things here. And like I said last week on the podcast, Blake Xavier was always going to get an X-Men gimmick, and that's exactly what I gave him.
Let's get it.
All right, so Blake Xavier, his gimmick is Professor Charles Kirby. You know where I came up with that name? Professor Xavier from X-Men.
Yeah.
So
And
I
Kirby
just-
is your
yeah.
favorite video game of all time.
Well, that I guess, but Jack Kirby drew Professor Xavier. He helped Stan Lee come up with it. So
Stanley.
it's Stanley. So Professor Charles Kirby, his finisher is the X bomb, which is an iron claw bomb.
Ooh,
Here's his
love that move.
backstory here. A once talented science professor, Charles Kirby decided that he wanted to take his life down a different path after getting ridiculed by kids every day about being a big ass nerd. After attending a local professional wrestling event, Charles signed up for classes where he learned the trick of the trade. Now one of the smartest men in the business, along with his slick tongue and charm, Charles Kirby can talk his way out of anything and fight his way over anyone with his X-bomb finisher.
Ooh, all right. I love it. Love it. That's hot. The X bomb, though. That's the move right there.
That's that good shit. We had a Good Crescent. His gimmick is Dirty Philip Belmont. His finisher is the knee to face, which is the Busaiku knee that Daniel Bryan does, or as Xavier likes to call it on AEW, the sexy Chucky knee. Did I tell you? I ever tell you about the sexy Chucky knee?
I don't know.
I don't know if I ever linked you to it or not, but yeah. So like Excalibur would always call it the sexy Chucky knee, and Trent hated that he called it that, and he tweeted he's like, can someone tell Excalibur to stop fucking calling it the sexy Chucky knee? So Excalibur on AEW, it's a sexy Chucky knee. And that is why he calls it that.
And then Jim Ross is like, what are you talking about? Don't use that word.
Why is he not going for the pin off the snap suplex? JR, can you please let the boys just work? Please. All right, so Dirty Philip Belmont. His backstory. Philip grew up in a middle-class household, but Phillips was always down with the motherfucking streets. With his skateboard and his Jinko jeans, Philip set out at 18 to find his own calling in life. After tagging up a building one night with a big-ass penis, Philip saw a flyer for pro wrestling school. He got his nickname Dirty because he does what he needs to do to get the win, and whether that be cheating or straight up cheesing countouts like a big-ass loser, Philip Belmont does what he needs to do to win a match.
I love it, dude. I don't think the count out is underutilized in pro wrestling. Why don't more people go for a count out?
Because they see everybody online in WWE 2K do it, and they're like, this fucking shit.
I would. I'm going to be a wrestler where I just throw people out of the ring and try and get
that's a big heel thing. I think that could really get over. Like you just get them out,
especially if you're
and just cheese
champion, bro.
Yeah, why
Count
don't
yourself
they
out.
they should do that in real life? Like people, they should throw them out of the ring and then like go for the count out. They get back in the ring, you stay out of the ring, and then you just cheese taunts. Just do the
cactus.
Yeah, the cactus arm or the throat cut one where you just go
The cactus arm. Except one time you accidentally go, ooh, Oh, and set yourself up for disaster.
That's oh my god. If Kenny Omega's if his new gimmick is big gamer loser nerd, he definitely has to do that where he's like, cactus taunt. That would be so cheesy, dude.
You should literally do a Apex tournament to find a tag partner in AEW. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, he's already all in on the whole big nerd loser geek gimmick, so he might as well keep going. All right, and the last guy, Michael Robinson. His gimmick is out of time, Mike Fox. His finisher is the Blink Driver, which is a Michinoku driver. And his backstory is Mike Fox is always out of time. Whether it's trying to finish a test in school, trying to take a shit before work starts, or trying to finish a match before the time limit. Mike Fox currently holds the world record for most time limit draws in professional wrestling. Because every single time he tries to hit the Blink Driver, he's just out of time, Tony. Till this day, no one's kicked out of it because time doesn't allow anyone to kick out of it.
Oh, I like it.
Procrastination.
Got like one of those glasses that you turn upside down, and that's his Tron.
The hourglass.
Yeah,
got one of them glasses.
Well, I couldn't think of the name of it. Shut up. He's got to have a knife too, right?
Something.
Doesn't everybody have a knife? Out of time, time's up.
What do you got there? A knife. No. So let's go through these Patreon gimmicks here. Tony, as we usually do, I'm going to say them and then you tell me what you think. These are pretty good. I like these. All right. So Nicholas Dorito, his gimmick is Diamond Nick Alvarez. His finisher is the Diamond Driver, and it's a backdrop driver. And his backstory, cut from stone, abs from God. Nick Alvarez got the nickname Diamond from his incredible physique. It's only a matter of time till WWE picks him up once Vince McMahon sees his oiled up body. It's a wrap. Taking inspiration from wrestlers of the past, Nick Alvarez's backdrop driver that he named the Diamond Driver is one for the history books.
I love it. Vince McMahon, that gif of Vince and the bodybuilders.
That's exactly, by the way, that's where I came up with the gimmick is I resaw the gif of him losing his mind and I was like, yep, that'll do. That'll be one of them. You can actually usually tell exactly where I get most of these gimmicks from if you just think about it for a second. Because they all come from things I see.
I thought you were going to give him the diamond cutter, but we'll go with
No. I didn't want to. That's too on the nose. Like,
so you could probably just use that as like a regular move, you know?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Everybody, I mean, we're doing Canadian Destroyers like it ain't nothing, so like, why not?
that's setting up for your finish.
Yeah, obviously.
Diamond cutter.
We had one for Nikolai Nielson. The gimmick I gave him was Dark Donnie Nielson. His finisher is Driven to Madness, and it's a crossface. So, backstory. This one's actually very intricate. So, backstory. One night as Donnie was sleeping, he was awoken by a weird presence. He can't and could not explain it. Hell, he can barely remember it. All he can remember is waking up, and on his television, he saw professional wrestling. He had no TV service, no antenna, a VCR, and no wrestling tapes, but pro wrestling was on his TV in his room. A TV that had never seen pro wrestling. How does that happen? Nobody knows. Donnie felt inclined to explore this further, enrolling in a pro wrestling school as he chases down the meaning to this night in his life. Every victory drives him closer to the answer, and his Driven to Madness crossface submission helps him get there.
Ooh, I love it. I love it, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty pretty intricate. You know where I got that one from?
I don't know. Where'd you get it from?
Donnie Darko.
Oh, makes sense.
I don't know if you ever seen that movie, but it's a good movie.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good. It's an old one, but it's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is he like the son of the Nielsen TV rating guy as well?
Oh my God. No, I didn't even think about that, but that's like 6,000 IQ.
There you go.
That's incredible.
Throw that down there.
All right. So I have one for Brooks Nose. His gimmick, Sadistic Scott Thomas. His finisher is called Second to None. And it's an air raid crash, which, by the way, is one of my favorite moves ever. I love a good air raid crash, especially when it's a big man. So, Sadistic Scott Thomas's backstory: brutal, barbaric, cold-blooded. Just a few words to describe Scott Thomas' in-ring demeanor. People that step in the ring with Scott do not come out the same man. Unrelenting on his offense, he barely has to focus on defense. Sadistic Scott Thomas goes at you and does not stop until the job is well and done, and then he doesn't stop then. His second to none finish, the air raid crash, leaves bodies mangled in the square circle.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's just vicious, bro. I was just thinking like a bear attack or something. I'm like, hell yeah.
Ooh, gee.
That's what I thought when I was thinking. I was like, oh man, bear. I like that.
Just a big hoss going at it, you know?
Yeah, if you guys want Patreon gimmicks, man, it's in the $10 tier. If you become a $10 patron, I appreciate everybody that goes that length and goes to help us out, man. You guys are the best. Appreciate y'all, man. So we actually had 5 people that are going to be giving gimmicks in this episode. So we're going to go through all of them. I got a couple here for Dweeb, Chris Miller, Skiz, Zach Roper, and Hunter Black. So I'll start off with Dweeb, and of course, Tony can give me any feedback he thinks about these.
Let's do it.
So Dweeb, we gave him the gimmick Brass Ring Dylan Murphy. His finisher is the American Driver. It's a Psycho Driver too. You get American Psycho, Psycho Driver too, American Driver. So it makes sense. You just, got to think about it a little bit. So Brass Ring Dylan Murphy's gimmick is that everyone wants to achieve the American dream, to grab that brass ring. Well, Dylan Murphy grabbed the brass ring the second he stepped into a wrestling ring for the first time, becoming an overnight success story. A big part of that is Dylan's American Driver finish that has grabbed him wins from the East Coast all the way to the West.
Ooh.
Successful American dream, Dylan Murphy. We have Chris Miller. He is his gimmick is Headhunter Chris Spiral. His finisher is called the Perfect Shot, which is a headlock driver. And Chris Spiral's gimmick here is a talented shot. Chris Spiral spent most of his childhood extremely interested in archery. He couldn't get enough of it. He became obsessed with getting the perfect shot. And even now in the squared circle, the perfect shot is all Chris can think about. One perfect shot headlock driver and his lights out for his opponents.
I like it. I think he needs to have one of those inspirational posters, it's like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. And then in quotes, perfect shot.
Yeah, perfect shot. We had one for Skiz. His gimmick is the Great Secret Shane Morris. His finisher is the Zenith Lock, which is a Rings of Saturn. And his gimmick is, even as a child, Shane Morris was interested in finding out the secrets of the world. His exploration led him to pro wrestling, where he found a love for the squared circle. Shane Morris now tries to discover the great mysteries of wrestling and uses his Zenith Lock finisher to get the answers he wants out of his opponents.
Ooh, I like it.
I love the nickname, The Great Secret. I think that's like a really, because it's an old novel from back in the day. I think it was one of those sci-fi novels, and I just love the name of it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's an L. Ron Hubbard, like one of those old school joints.
L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology. What the heck?
Yeah, it's one of them old science fiction joints.
Do we need to have a discussion here, please?
Well, that's probably where the Great Secret came from. They just probably created Scientology right off of that.
Are you gonna hashtag join the Dark Order? Is there something I need to know?
I totally would. If they want to get me on TV and join the Dark Order, get me in, baby. I'd do it in a second. We had Zach Roper. His gimmick is Phantom Zach Krolo. His finisher is Sukiru, which is he hasn't actually debuted his finisher yet. He steals his opponent's finishers. That's what he does.
That's the best.
Phantom Zach Krolo's backstory is a once fabled bandit. Zach Krolo got the nickname Phantom from his ability to slide in and out of situations unseen and unheard. That same mentality leaked over into his wrestling, as Zach Krolo uses a technique he calls Sukiru that gets in the heads of the opponents by using their own moves against them. Nobody has seen his true finisher to this day, and that's exactly how he likes it.
Ooh, just wait. It'll happen.
Yeah, it's mysterious. I like it.
What if one of his moves was his opponent and we've already seen it, but we didn't know it?
Well, I feel like he would win with it. I feel like maybe you win with it.
No, I'm saying, what if he stole his opponent's finisher, but that was actually his finisher?
Oh, yeah. I guess by the time you steal enough finishers, yeah. I mean, one of them's got to be it, right?
He probably has like a lariat as his finisher.
Yeah, it's an axe bomber. We had Hunter Black. He's the final one to give a gimmick to here. And his gimmick is Black Dragon Max Tyrant. I went full it's like SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 call right here, like one of those demon characters, 100 overall you hate facing online. Like that's definitely where I got my inspiration.
With the creative finisher that's like a bunch of punches and then
yeah. It's just ridiculous. Middle finger, gut kick, gut kick.
Yeah, gut kick.
Yeah, so his gimmick was kind of based off of that and Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho. So his finisher is also the Unholy Driver, which is the very first Tiger Driver 91, the one where he just drops them on their neck and they die. Well, I don't know if it's the very first one, but it's definitely one of them because there's so many. There's the Tiger Driver 97, the Tiger Driver 91.
Don't forget about the Tyler Driver 97.
Is it okay? Then is it the Tiger Driver 96? Yeah, actually, that is Tiger Driver 96, I believe, because Tyler changed it to 90. Oh, what is it? Tiger Driver. No, I'm gonna look it up now because I'm interested in all the variations.
Now you get the variations of the Tiger.
Yeah,
Driver.
so Tiger Driver 91, of course, is the one where he just drops them on their neck. I'm pretty sure. Then the Tiger Driver 98 is the double underhook, which a lot of people probably know is the J Driller, which is the double underhook pile driver. And then of course the regular Tiger Driver, which is I think actually Toni Storm uses it, but it's not as good, obviously, just because she doesn't do it. She doesn't do it like Misawa did, where I think she calls it the Storm Zero instead of the Strong Zero in WWE. So
okay,
yeah, so the Tiger Driver 91, where he just drops you on your neck. And then the Tiger Driver 98, which is the double underhook pile driver. So there's your Tiger Driver gimmicks there. If you ever wanted to know,
now you know.
Yeah, now you know all
There's
the
the
Tiger
education.
Drivers.
We could put this under educational podcast now because you're
learning there
something.
You go. You're learning more about wrestling. And of course, a Tiger Bomb is where you set them up like a Tiger Driver, but instead of sitting out for the Tiger Driver, you either go on your knees or release them from the top. So that's a Tiger Bomb.
What about a Tiger Suplex?
Tiger Suplex, where you grab the back of their hands. That's the difference between a Tiger Suplex and a Dragon Suplex, is the way you grab their hands. Grabbing their hands from the side is a Tiger Suplex, while a Dragon Suplex is grabbing them from up ahead. So their arms are sticking out their top on a Dragon, and you grab their arms like a full Nelson. And then a Tiger Suplex is where their arms are back, and you grab them and you kind of lock them together, and that's a Tiger Suplex. So there you go. Look at everybody's learning something crazy.
All your Tiger wrestling moves. He's got you covered.
I know a lot of wrestling moves, and I actually know way too many, which makes me end up getting confused a lot of the times because I know too damn many wrestling moves. It's like on AEW the other week when Goldust came on commentary and was like, "What the hell is a Gamengiri?" Come on, Goldust, you don't know what a Gamengiri is, you asshole? You kidding me?
Everyone, it's funny. I know a lot of wrestling moves from playing the video games. I think from like trying to figure out what finisher I want for my guy. I just went through like every move ever, and I learned them all.
Yeah, well, there's that, and then they name them all wrong, so that like didn't help at all. You know, like they don't ever use the real names for them, except for on the new one. They just called it the Kamigoye. They're just like, yeah, whatever, like just take it, just take it right from Ibushi. Who cares? Whatever. But yeah, thank you to everyone who, of course, supports on Patreon, man. That's super fucking dope of you. And anyone who goes on the Apple Podcasts and helps with that and stuff, because it helps.
Did you finish the gimmick? I think you went in the Tiger rant and you never went through the gimmick. You just said like his finish is a Tiger Driver. And
oh, thanks. No, I didn't. Sorry, I did get so caught up on
you
the
went on like this 30-minute rant about like Tiger Driver.
Oh, I can't help it. Like I get talking about wrestling. I just like it.
So I was like, yeah, I don't think you finished.
So all right, so let me just reiterate it one more time. Black Dragon Max Tyrant. His finisher is the Unholy Driver, which is the Tiger Driver 91, where he drops him on the neck. And then his gimmick is the Demons of Hell cower at the call of the Black Dragon. Seeking a more challenging affair, Max Tyrant found his way into pro wrestling to test his might against some of the biggest and baddest dudes in the world. His handcrafted Unholy Driver is his key to being respected as much in the human world as he is in the demon world. So this is literally like a SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 gimmick.
I like it.
If you want to go forward a few years, and I'll just say that he wants to be the best in the world, then like that could be a WWE 13 gimmick.
Yeah, there it is.
I'll never forget back in the day running a forum, and we ran an eFed where it was like a competitive eFed, and I don't remember who did it first, but he came in, he made a thread, and he said, "I'm the best in the world. This is an open challenge." And literally every single person crutched on that for an entire year, dude. None of them came up with gimmicks or characters or whatever. They literally came in and said, "I'm the best in the world. This is an open challenge. No one can beat me." I said, "This is so fucking boring. Are you kidding me?" That was the worst year for eFeds ever. CM Punk ruined eFeds.
I am the best in the world. Open challenge.
This is an open challenge. I literally had to make a rule. No more open challenges. No more. You're not the best in the world anymore. You can't do no damn open challenges. No one can do anything. Cutting it off.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I can't even remember a lot of the gimmicks because they were so overflown with just everyone stopped being creative and everyone started being CM Punk. So yeah, for that whole year, that was a very, very terrible time in eFed history. Of course, forums needed to die too, but that's a couple years later. All forums are gonna die, but that's just how it is.
Starting with Hunter Black, Tony. What do you know about Hunter Black, huh? You know nothing. That's what you know.
I think his name's spelled with 2 C's, right? Or 3 or 4.
2 C's. And do you know who else ends their name with 2 letters? His tag team partner, Hunter Blue. That's BLUU, Tony. They're 2 of the most vicious men of the jungle in the history of pro wrestling. Right up there with Jungle Pack. Do you know anything about Jungle Pack? That's when Pac was he was just a dude in the jungle. He had crazy hair. He was a very shitty skinny boy. But these 2 are not shitty skinny boys at all, Tony. They are big, beefy men. Hunter Black, most known for his finisher, the spear. And you hear, the spear, you think of Goldberg, you think of Roman Reigns, maybe Rhino. But no, this is a whole different level of brutality, Tony. Because anytime, I don't know how he gets away with it, maybe because of his partner, Hunter Blue, every time he hits the spear, it's always when the referee is distracted. And that's because he throws an actual spear into the heart of his competitor. A whole spear. Yes. Sharpened on the sharpest rocks that you can find. He throws it right into the heart. Yes. And he pins his opponent, and somehow the referee does not realize that a massive spear is sticking out of their competitors. Yes. And that is Hunter Black.
So you want the shoot name. He's using that as a gimmick, dude.
Oh, I mean, hey, man. Him and Hunter Blue. They're,
Black and the Blue, I like it.
Yeah, a brave, tough tag team. Okay, moving on to
what about Bunny? The Bunny, the Black, the Blue.
Oh, I mean, listen, you can. I mean, if you want, you can have Pulse build on top of my idea to give.
No, I like the spear,
a little more
the
pizzazz.
actual spear.
You like the shoot spear? Now moving on to Jason Tata, but in pro wrestling, Tony, he's known as Jason Tata, the most sought out pro wrestler in the business, and not because he's the greatest talent to ever appear in a professional wrestling ring, Tony. No. But because every time he's in a match, he just runs away. Yes. Every time. He's never been pinned. Never been submitted. But once that bell rings, he immediately leaves and heads to the backstage area. But not before yelling out his famous catchphrase that all of the fans love to yell along with him. Tata! Maybe one day we'll see what this athlete has to offer. But probably not.
Tata. I like it.
Tata! I mean, who knows what a talent... I mean, he doesn't care about winning or losing. He just gets paid to show up and he leaves.
Tata.
And says his catchphrase, and that's it.
I like it. It's
pretty over. And last but not least, Tony, High Power 14. I mean, with a name like that, what do you think of when you think of High Power? Do you immediately think of Vince McMahon and the higher power?
Sure.
High Power 14 is a multi-generational talent, spanning 14 generations of pro wrestlers, Tony, to come out of the High Power dungeon.
Ooh.
Similar to the Hart dungeon, except it's underneath an electrical plant, where shock therapy is used to keep them alert at all times and on their tippy toes. His finisher is, of course, the most electrifying move in sports entertainment today, the Samoan Spike. He hits you in the neck with a thunderous bolt as his thumb digs into your neck and sends you down to the canvas. And that's a move that's been passed down, as I said, for 14 generations. Over 100 years of pro wrestling talent in the Power family. And, yeah, that's him.
I like it. You went for the
go.
You went for the shoot names. You didn't come up with gimmick names, or
listen. In my mind, these are their gimmick names.
High Power 14, the 14th of the
14th of the generation of high power wrestlers.
I could imagine him wrestling back in the day with like Playboy Buddy Rose.
Oh, of course, George Hagenschmidt and him had. His great grandfather probably fought. Nikolai Volkov a couple times.
Back in the Capital Wrestling Federation days.
Yeah, of course, yes.
I love it.
And Andrew, don't worry. You're going to get one at the beginning of the year, and it's going to change your world forever.
Woo!
So there you go.
I love it. Thank you, Johnny, for getting us the gimmicks. Round of applause for him. 316 Gimmick Street here. I love it. Good stuff, dude.
Like we should uncover this gimmick for Andrew Nana-san.
I love the segues. I love it.
Gotta love it, brother. Well, first gimmick of the year, Tony, 2020. And what better way to start off a year of gimmicks with the man of the new decade? That's right. Andrew San is the man of the new decade. He only shows up once every decade, Tony.
Ooh.
That's how special he is. So you never know when to expect this competitor. Will he show up and not only that, Tony, he isn't just a wrestler. He can do commentary. He can do interviews. He can even be a fan. He might just show up to a show and watch it in the front row, no less. Will he actually participate in the match? I'm not sure. The last time he wrestled, Tony, was in 2012, where he took place in a dark match against Justin Gabriel, and he lost. So who knows? It's only once every decade, Tony. He builds it up in himself. It takes so long from the prepare. He puts so much effort into everything he does that it takes him at least 10 years before his next performance. And the rumor has it that we could be seeing him wrestle in the year 2025, wrestling on an AEW dark match, and it's probably going to be against a spooky wrestler because that's all they have.
Ooh, I like it. I
go.
like it. He could just show
There
up
you
on
go.
NXT with a ticket. That's part of his appearance.
Yeah, that's true. He could be an interview. He could be a coach at NXT right now. Who knows? I don't know.
That's fantastic. I love
Very
it.
the mysterious man of the decade.
It's like the Millennium Man. Wasn't Jericho the Millennium Man?
He was. This is the decade man.
Decade dude.
Decade destroyer.
That's fantastic. I love it.
There you go, Andrew. Happy New Year.
So he's got like this weird Brock Lesnar contract where he gets paid like
Yeah,
to do
he
nothing.
only has to work once a decade. Even better than Brock.
I saw this kayfabe news thing that said Brock Lesnar signed a new 3-year deal with 0 matches.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That was fantastic. So there you go. There's the gimmicks for you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Johnny.
Yes,
Thank you, Nene. Same. Sorry about the delay in the gimmick, but hopefully, you know what? Just
It's
like
all
your,
Pulse's fault, really.
No, actually, it fits the gimmick because we delayed it, and he's the man of the decade. So it's just,
right.
It's a big
You
thing.
can't talk
We have like 8 or 9 gimmicks we're supposed to do. But we only have time for 2. Because that's all I fucking did. I apologize. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so next week I'm splitting this up. Y'all okay, Tony, you're doing 2, Johnny, you're doing 2, and I'll do 2 because we have 6 remaining.
That's fine.
And if
All right,
any
just
more
send me over
sign up,
the
I'll
names
split them the
and
fuck
we will
up.
get them going.
Yeah.
We'll get them.
Yeah. Resi Rez, Jack Kane, Tyler King, Zachariah Riera, Soul Rake, and this fucking name, the Volcano. Yeah.
Oh, I'll know the Volcano.
Yeah. I'll let you.
One of the homeboys.
Yeah, I'll let you do him. Yeah, if any of those names mean anything to you, I'll do it. I know Tyler King and.
Just send me the list of who needs them, and then we'll divvy
Yeah,
them.
we'll
yeah,
divvy
yeah,
them
we'll
up.
do it.
Just hit us up.
So I
listen.
did 2 of them. I did Jeremiah Price. I gave him the gimmick Captain Jeremy Price. For the finisher, I gave him it's called the One Shot, and it's an avalanche blockbuster because I fucking love that move. I don't feel like I feel like it's definitely just like a transition move, but like it is fucking sweet.
Like the Buff Bagwell style.
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
move rules.
Yeah. That's the way to go.
Yeah, especially if you can get someone to bump right. But their backstory is they're grizzled and experienced. Captain Jim Price, or that's what you get, Jeremy and Jim. Captain Jim Price was in the war. What war?
Oh.
Nobody asked. Someone should ask. Maybe someone from the Baltimore Sun should ask.
Oh no! You have stolen valor.
Fuck you, Sarge. Never forget.
I see where you got your inspiration.
Yeah, that was easy. Oh hell yeah! I also was from Call of Duty 4. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So I have Cameron Perkins here. Their gimmick is the Outlaw Cam Wilson. Their finisher is the Red X, which is you know the move that Nigel did at TNA. It was like the Tower of London.
London. Oh wait, like the
cutter
from the rope.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's it.
Honestly, I'm surprised no one's stolen that move because that move's
It
kind of cool
rules.
too.
Yo, yeah, it's
Nigel
awesome.
had a lot of cool moves. Like Ambrose took the wacky line, but like
He ruined it.
the Tower of London. Aries took the Zach Gibson took the London Dungeon, which is like the arm capture.
Yeah. And yeah,
cool.
the Tower of London ruled. Yeah, he was. I mean, it was a weird gimmick. He came out in glasses and shit, and he had Chelsea or whatever, and just none of it made sense. I was like, okay,
Big hog.
I forgot about that.
yeah, I fuck. And he did the fucking finger thing, the British middle finger or whatever, where he
Yeah.
did the. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But okay, so the gimmick here is the road to the top is lonely, and Cam Wilson understands that all too well, making sure to stay 2 steps ahead mentally and physically of everyone else on the way up. Cam didn't make too many friends, but Cam's Red X finish did make some damn enemies.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, Tower of London. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That movie rules. It's called Red X now, though. Suck it.
Oh,
now, everybody, yeah, remember that from Dead More. So, everybody else, we will hit you up next week with your stuff. If anyone else becomes a $10 patron, I'll get Marcus to do yours.
It's Gimmick Week next week, baby.
I think we said that last week.
we can talk about Super Bowl real quick. We have a bunch of gimmicks also that are super dope, cool, and neat. And we actually split them up.
Let's go first.
Yeah, we split them up. So I have a couple. Johnny has a couple. Tony has a couple. All right. So how do you guys want to do this?
I think you, then me, then Tony, and then just keep going that order.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start off with my man Jack Kane here. So his gimmick is whatever Jack Calvo. His finisher is the whatever driver, which is a Psycho Driver 3, the one where he takes their arm behind. He like almost puts him in like a Kimura when he picks him up with their arm and then drives him. So yeah, that one's pretty dope. I think he did that one to Candice LeRae. I think he did that one to Candice LeRae.
I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
So anyways, his backstory, the only emotion Jack Calvo feels is apathy. Sure, yeah, cool, whatever, dude. Ooh. The only thing that perks him up is the thought of getting that 3 count with his finisher, the whatever driver, which works out well for Jack in the Squared Circle. Sometimes been known to hang out with Orange Cassidy, but to be honest, neither of them can be asked to get out with each other in the first place. Whatever Jack Calvo.
Whatever. Where did you get Calvo from?
I don't know.
Just in your brain?
Yeah,
Have you heard me do any gimmicks?
No,
I know you don't watch the product.
Yeah, I don't.
He doesn't watch the product.
I actually watch everything but you doing the gimmicks.
I do them a little differently, so just go along with me here, okay?
Tony, you didn't tell him how we do the gimmicks?
No, I know how you do them, but like I feel like I'm a little. I mean, I have what you.
Whatever, you know what? That's fine. That's
what
fine.
did you do?
Trust me.
Yeah, no, I do trust you. That's what.
Trust me. Do you trust me?
Trust me.
Okay.
Go along on this ride with me, okay?
So
we're gonna be talking about the volcano here.
Oh,
there's never been someone more dedicated to following in the footsteps of the big red machine Kane than this man. All his life, he just wanted to be Kane. He loves him. He wanted to have a cool mask. He wanted to have a sweet glove that he could pull up randomly. And of course, he just wanted to set himself on fire. As the years went on, he realized he wanted to be even stronger than Kane. And what better way to do that than to burn yourself in a fucking volcano? So one day, he climbed to the top of the highest volcano he could find. And then he moonsaulted into it. And then he died. So he actually never became a wrestler. He's dead now. Rest in peace.
Aww.
I was gonna say, Kane, this is volcano.
This is crazy.
He took the mask off. He was fine. He was ugly. Whoa. So I mean, he won't even burn. That's crazy.
He's burnt and dead now. Rest in peace.
All right. Well, that is definitely one way to do it. All right. Guess you're not gonna be a wrestler, buddy. Sorry.
Hey, man. So maybe we'll get Volcano Jr. next time.
Yeah, perfect. That'd be great. We follow his steps with that.
We can't do junior. We can't talk about juniors ever.
Oh shit.
What? Something just came alive in Tony. He heard
There's a what in the volcano?
Something just came alive. He said, huh?
All right, Tony, your turn.
All right, I had Suhal. I'll just go with that. Suhail.
Suhail.
Does that sound right, James? Yep.
I just want to hear how you would say both. I want to hear the first and last name.
Suhail, Bear, Barakazi. I don't know. I feel like it's so messed
Von
up.
Radsky. I hope you gave him that gimmick.
His name is Caden Cruz, is the name I came up with.
Ooh.
After an unfortunate accident, he made a vow to his brother that he would follow in his footsteps. His brother, Colin Cruz, was tragically killed attempting the infamous 1190 moon bomb inside the ring.
There's a lot of death this week.
Caden decided he would honor his brother, become a pro wrestler. Although wrestling wasn't his original passion, his heart and determination made him a true ring general. He says one day he will learn the 1190 moon bomb and perform it at WrestleMania.
Oh, shit.
This man, you said Junior, and Tony said,
Tony said, you ain't one-upping me, motherfucker. Moonsault into a volcano? Nah.
Oh, my God. Okay.
That just so happens they were back-to-back gimmicks.
I told you, Paul, shit changed when you left.
Yeah, holy shit. All right. Well, shit. Now mine are mundane compared to... Yeah, my brother did a move and died. Oh,
The 1190 move.
And I
bomb,
too
man.
want to die, I guess.
yeah. I want to follow his footsteps to die in the ring.
No. He's not gonna die.
Oh,
He's
he wants to
gonna do it.
successly do it. It's gonna be like the ending of The Wrestler.
It's not like Paul. It's
Yo,
not
it'd
like
be the
Tommy
tag
Dreamer at
team or his
WrestleMania.
I love it.
shit.
It's a good gimmick. All right.
All right.
You should definitely name him Suhail Von Ratsky, though. So,
We could change the name if we want.
yeah, we'll fix it. Maybe his brother doesn't die.
Maybe his brother doesn't die.
He wouldn't become a wrestler because he didn't like wrestling.
That's probably like a Vince McMahon thing. He's like, his brother died in the ring. It shows his brother died over. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't
I don't like
die.
that anymore.
Yeah, maybe he didn't die. Sorake. I'm pretty sure his name wasn't that, but he changed his name to that after he heard me say that last
Okay.
week. Yeah. So his gimmick is Safe Bet Silas Gray. His finisher is Surefire, which is a superplex, because I don't feel like enough people use that as a finish, and they should. You remember when?
Pac did it
I was
for
gonna
like
say,
a week, right?
Yeah, you remember when Pac was doing it and then he quit.
Yeah. He said that hurts.
Oh, my butt cheeks hurted. So Silas Gray, he got the nickname Safe Bet from all the times he took a risk and it paid off. Whether it be diving off of balconies or doing scaffolding matches or doing moves he had no business doing, somehow Silas Gray always came out on the other end ahead of the game. Nobody. I know nobody died here. It's just, I don't know.
Well, I mean, he was death defying.
Yeah. He was like Jeff Hardy.
I thought he was gonna be a gambler.
You know, I was going that way, but I've done a gambler gimmick, so I was like, maybe not.
Hey man, listen, man. People don't watch the show.
We're not double dipping.
All right, so up next is I'm doing Rez's, and Rez sticks with his own name. Rez is Rez because I mean, yeah, I feel like that's a cool enough name on.
There was a Rez Senior, but he fucking died. He jumped into a volcano, did a moonsault on the ground.
Well, Rez isn't a wrestler. Rez is actually a manager. Rez is he's the most sought after manager in the history of the business.
Wow.
Not because of his charisma or his look or even because of any of his skills, but because he has the softest lips known to mankind.
Wow.
It has been rumored that any person he kisses goes on to have the biggest of successes.
Ooh,
Stone Cold kissed him. John Cena kissed him. Ric Flair made out with him.
Oh,
Ricky
Luther
Dozen.
in this thing.
Luther never met him. Never met Luther.
Kissed him.
He's actually not. Yeah, he's never met Luther. There's
tried.
no denying his track record. It only takes one kiss to turn someone from a zero to a hero.
Nobody died. This is great.
No, they just get kisses.
That's awesome. Okay, I dig that one. Yeah, he tried to kiss Luther, but he kept sticking his tongue out. What the fuck's going on?
He said, "No, man, that goes a little too far."
Yeah, what the hell?
Kissed him.
Kissed him.
I like that gimmick. Kissed him.
What?
Kissed him. What? One
right,
kiss. What?
Tony.
All right. I had Easton Secca. Is that how you pronounce it? S-E-C-A?
Yeah.
Sucker.
So this is super sexy Brian Matthews with 3 X's, by the way.
Oh shit! Now.
Who loves Brian? No one loves Brian more than himself, and he's
Wait,
quickly...
where are the S's at? Is it Matthews' or is it
they're now
super
X's.
sexy?
Did you hear them? Did you hear them? They're now X's.
They're X's, not S's.
Oh, I thought you had extra S's. I thought you were telling me how to spell
Dude, you didn't even let him tell you what the name was.
He said it has 3 X's. There's 3 ex-girlfriends.
Yeah.
Oh my god! All right, who loves Brian? No one loves Brian more than himself, and he's quick to let you know it. After a tape leaked on the internet, Brian decided that he would
What?
not hide from it and he would embrace it. Brian has gone from sexy to super sexy after the tape went viral.
Like a big
Because
dick?
after all, who wants to be sexy when you can be super sexy? Brian is a true tease in the ring and will always let the fans know. Whatever, and always leave the fans thirsty for more. That's what I wrote. There you go.
You got,
This dude's packed.
yeah, this kid he got a big cock or something, dude. Is that what you
He's
said?
from Johnsonville, by the way. That's what I wrote.
Oh shit!
Damn.
Oh man.
What was
That's
his tape?
how. I mean, that's a. I've never heard of someone having a tape leaked and then like a dude getting popular from it. That's pretty sick.
Yeah,
that's how big this dude
yeah,
is.
that's nuts.
This man takes care of business.
Yeah,
We might have to add a
holy.
few more S's at the beginning.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, a few more X's.
He's got 3 X's. He's only dated 3 women because none of them can handle it.
This segment sucks.
Yeah, his name was
No, I
Ed.
like it.
His name was Ed Kane with 3 X's.
Oh shit!
All right,
Oh, all right, go
back
on.
around to me. All right, Tyler King, what's up, man? All right, I
Good.
gave,
What's
I
up,
gave
man?
him the I gave him the gimmick.
How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
Tyler Greg is a great performer.
Yeah, very good podcast. So the the gimmick is Kickback Kayak Jones.
All right, that's it. We're done with that gimmick.
You know what? That was a good one, Paul.
Kickback Kayak Jones with 3 X's.
Kayak. There's 3 X's. XX kayak XX.
Oh,
man.
fuck.
His finisher is called Payday, and it's a choke breaker.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Kayak Jones is all about his money, how to make it, how to break it, how to shake it. At this point, I'm just rhyming stuff, but that is definitely what Vince McMahon does when he comes out with these. So that's okay. The crowd waits patiently for Payday, and Kayak Jones always delivers. No one dies.
No one dies. You gotta start killing people in your
Oh yeah, Kayak Jones always delivers, and then someone had a heart attack in the crowd. And that inspired Kayak Jones to be a wrestler again.
In fact,
Volcano.
Kayak Jones killed his last 3 exes.
And that's why there's 3 X's in his name.
All right, my
Oh shit!
my last gimmick is for Zachariah. To his family, he's known as Zachariah, but to the millions of wrestling fans around the world, he's known as Signed, Sealed, and Delivered Arnvelope. Trained by Special Delivery Jones.
Wait, what?
Arnvelope comes to the ring handing out mail to all the fans from inside of his mailbag. But once he's in the squared circle, it's all business, and he delivers a beatdown that have any employee sent right to Human Resources. But thankfully, wrestling lets you go postal without any free precautions.
Oh no!
Arn's finisher,
what? Is he in the
Arn's
Force?
finisher is the overnight shipping, which is otherwise known as the West Coast Pop.
Oh, West Coast Pop. Hey, he's also the Force.
Yeah.
Going postal.
Arnvelope.
What's that dude? Kayak Jones and who'd you say? Kayak Jones and Delivery Boy
Brett.
Jones. Like what the hell?
Special Delivery Jones he was trained by.
Oh, shit. Same dude.
SD Jones, baby.
That's crazy.
How many gimmicks you got, James?
I'm done.
I'm done.
You're
too.
done. Oh, I got 3 now. Jeez.
You got 3 more?
Yeah.
All right, go.
What
Go
the
through 'em.
Wait, how did this happen?
James, I wonder. James was handing them out.
Oh, cool, man. I
I
like
It's
can't
okay.
count.
James just left. It's fine. James, you do enough for this podcast. It's good.
I don't.
So is this Canan? Is that how you pronounce it? Canan Lamp? Is that the name that you pronounce?
Yeah, I think so.
C-A-
Kanan, maybe, or
okay. Canan. So I went with Squeaky Clean John Lamp is his name. The all-American kid with a great look, as if he was chiseled out of stone. Every time he enters the ring, you're in store for some good, clean fun. You know, it feels pretty good letting your kids watch him on Saturday night. It's all about having a good time in the ring, doing the right thing. When John Lamp enters the ring, he does what he's supposed to do.
that can go dark really quick. Your kids love watching it on there.
No.
Kids love the lamp.
He's literally
Like moss to the lamp. The kids come down.
and then he died or something. I don't know.
And then the lamp went out. And in its place, 3 X's.
And he jumped in a volcano. All right. So I got Nicholas Wheeler here. He's going to
That's
go
my
by the
man.
gimmick just Wheeler.
That's
Ooh,
my
just
man.
wait, is it
All
Wheeler or
capitals.
just Wheeler?
We,
Like
Just
just
Wheeler.
Joe?
Wheeler, all capitalized.
Don't mess with Wheeler.
Okay.
He knew years ago he wouldn't be following in his father's footsteps. His father was a doctor from a highly educated university.
He was.
He found his true calling after he had a pro football injury, took him out of commission. Shortly after, he had an explosive arrival on the wrestling scene. He dropped the name Nicholas, and now everyone in the arena chants Wheeler. Wheeler. Just like that.
No excitement. Wheeler. Like Bueller.
Wheeler.
Even
then
though he
his
is one
dad
of the most,
died.
then his dad died as a doctor. Yeah.
was a doctor.
Because he is dead.
Rest in peace, Doctor Professor.
All right, even though he is one of the most
Wheeler.
popular wrestlers, he has yet to pick up a victory. He currently holds the biggest losing record of 0-164. Maybe someday he's going to get a win.
Oh shit, he
there's
might hit 169 soon.
Yeah, that's funny.
Wow.
All right, and the
Wheeler.
last one, Wheeler. That's what the
Crowd's going nuts.
Wheeler. What was that one thing we were saying when you were in Japan?
Oh yeah,
Hey, fucks!
you're talking about when I was in Japan. Oh yeah, so did I tell this? Oh, yeah, I told this
Yes, you
story.
did. Yes.
Wheeler,
Brooks!
Wheeler. All right, man.
All right, then we have the last one is Empty the Tank. With
Empty the tank.
Noah Williams. He will empty the tank for any company he works for. He is just honored to be in the ring with some of the great superstars and will leave it in the squared circle. Leave it all in there. He wants to prove that he's the best in the world to this day. He is also having one of the worst Twitter accounts of all time.
This was
What
a,
exactly is he leaving out there?
This was a that was a
He's
20,
leaving it all.
that was a 2012 EFED gimmick. I remember 2012 EFEDs were all, I'm the best in the world. This is an open challenge to anyone who thinks they could beat me.
I thought it was like a subtle coming gimmick.
No, please don't
This
go to my
man
Angel
just-
Fire website.
This man can't stop jizzing.
He leaves it all in the ring
Yeah. Oh, brother.
And he did. He left it all out there because he died in, the
with 3 X's.
He drowned in the ring.
in a volcano.
Yeah.
Income.
Yeah. Great.
Wow.
Here's
All
a
right,
forward.
so that's what you if you sign up for the Patreon. What's
Someone didn't even make it as a wrestler. They died. So.
He tried.
He tried. He wanted to be a wrestler.
Not everyone can be a wrestler.
Yeah, come on, man. We
Can
gotta
I
be
get a kiss?
realistic. Be realistic.
I need a kiss. One kiss?
What tier is the Patreon to get a gimmick?
$10 is the gimmick.
$10. So this is the quality of gimmick.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah. We put a lot of work into this, so please, $10 gimmicks. We're waiting for you. We're all caught up now, so next week we're gonna, we got the
We get
creative
more
juices.
Kayak Jones in here.
We
man.
got as you can see, we got the creative juices flowing.
Yeah, we're going crazy over here. Forget all that.
Leaving it all in the ring. All those creative juices.
All right, you guys want to do the gimmicks now?
No.
Yeah, we got to though.
Yeah.
I can close my tab here. Hold on a second.
He erased all his gimmicks.
I'll start.
No,
I
I
want to
haven't.
start with my gimmick. Can I start first?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let me
I'll
start.
start with my gimmick. My gimmick's
Well,
really
Tony
good.
has more, so I feel like he. maybe
Yeah.
should go
Okay.
first.
All right. We'll
more.
start
I
with
have one
Tony.
more, don't
Yeah.
I?
Well, then go ahead with your one
That
more.
is more.
Yeah. Go for
Numbers.
it.
All right.
Easy
We have
math.
Thomas Aguilera. Is that how you pronounce it? Or what did you say earlier? Was it Aguilera?
Who?
I like what-
Aguilera.
I like what you're saying. Keep going with it.
That's his real name. That's just like shoot name.
I like it.
Oh no, I'm not. I haven't got
That's
his
wrestler.
wrestler.
That's wrestler. name?
That's a good gimmick name, man. That's good.
Well, now I got to redo the whole gimmick because I didn't.
What was
No,
the
go-
gimmick? Go for it.
Yeah, no, keep going.
Go crazy.
Red Hot Sean Texas was his gimmick name.
Ooh,
Who?
Red Hot Sean Texas,
Oh,
baby. You
all
ain't
right,
hear
well,
about this
all right,
man?
hey,
You ain't
yeah,
hear?
He uses the famouser.
He's on the scene.
He uses the famouser. He calls it the hot drop. That's hot.
That's what you should
He's
have
from
called it.
Austin, Texas. That's he got the name. DTA isn't a motto, but it's a way of life. BMF is just one of the ways to describe this man. He will stomp a mud hole in you and walk it dry.
He's
He's
stone
always
cold.
up for OMR. He doesn't do a lot, but what he does makes sense. He'll beat you up any day of the week and twice on Sunday. That's Red Hot Sean Texas.
That's Stone Cold.
Oh wait a minute.
That's Stone-
Red Hot with 3 X's.
He's got 3 girls on his arms. It's like RBD plus
and,
1.
and he's dead.
Then he jumped in a volcano.
He reminds me of Undertaker and Obama. This show sucks so bad. There's no substance to anything. Just 3 assholes just laughing at nothing.
55 years ago today.
Stop.
All right, Paul.
Help! You want me to go with my gimmick?
Yeah.
Or do you
go
want me
on.
to do another one? Or
No, you'll be.
I'll
I
shoot
think 'cause yours
Cowboy.
will be last. I think, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll go with this one. We had Wyatt Payton, and his gimmick is Diablo John Wyatt. His finisher is called the Death Grip, and it's that Great Khali head squish thing he did.
Oh, he's squeezing.
Yeah, he is squeezing his head like a creep. So like that one. Yeah, his backstory is this motherfucker is the devil. So like he's like.
This is a big change from last week with you, by the way.
Yeah,
no, you were like all serious. This man's the devil.
Oh, then you'll love the
man's
rest of these
Satan.
gimmicks. You know this dude is
Oh, God.
devious because his finish is the head squish, like Rey Mysterio with the grape. He's nicknamed Diablo because he's the devil. And his brother died.
I killed him.
Mine actually had like a backstory that meant something.
Please tell me
and
that
then
was the
just
end of
died.
it. Is that all?
That's it.
And his brother died. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's 3 eggs.
He also looked like Undertaker. Make sure.
This show does suck. I unsubscribe.
All right, so who's
I
next? Johnny.
unsubscribe.
Oh, that was really it.
Yeah, it's your turn, Johnny. Yeah.
I thought you were joking. Oh fuck. Oh, my head hurts already. This is gonna be horrible for me. Okay.
So next.
Wait, what did you say? Who's Patreon that was even for? Did you just say
Yes,
Jimmy?
yes. No, I said it was for Wyatt
Who
Payton.
was it?
Wyatt Payton.
was it for?
Wyatt
Oh,
Payton.
okay, cool.
Johnny, you didn't even let him say it.
I was just making sure.
Yeah, wait, you didn't hear me say the gimmick?
I don't know, man. Weeks ago.
Yeah, your turn.
All right, this is for JRH. This competitor is known as none other than Scoot Scooty Scoot Scoot.
Oh, we're shooting now.
Scooty, scooty, scoot,
Scoot
scoot.
Scooty Scoot Scoot from Cerritos, California. He's always
Gave a location.
I gave a location but he's always riding down to the ring on his favorite means of transportation, a Razor scooter. Scoot Scooty Scoot Scoot is one of the most death-defying stars in the business, much like anyone that ever rode a Razor scooter, with most of his offense taking place off of this bottom or second ring rope. His finisher, called the quad bar spin, involves him bouncing off the second rope on his scooter, spinning the bar of his scooter 4 times, and then doing his head done.
That's straight out of Tony Hawk.
And his
Scoot,
friend
scoot,
died.
And then he ran everyone over with a scooter, and they died in hell.
Where they met Diablo John Wyatt.
And Volcano.
Fucking. And Kayak Jones.
Yeah.
Dude, Kayak Jones is the shit.
Yeah, that motherfucker's crazy. I think he's
All right,
at Chikara
Tony.
today.
All right, I Liam Gillian. Liam Gilligan or Gillian? I think it's Gilligan or something like that.
Sure,
but-
Gimmick.
Gilgan?
Go-
No, I know, I'm
No,
kidding.
that's his real. That's his shoot
Yeah,
name.
Liam Gilgan? Gilgan.
Mulligan.
So I kept doing Liam Gilgan.
Okay.
This British graps specialist is known for the most devastating submission, the Twister. He can do it anywhere in the ring. He is known for joint manipulation. He is a submission pervert, and he breaks down the body to dissect his opponents. He recently left the NXT or the UK independent scene to join NXT UK and pursue his dream.
Was he Pete
Everyone else,
Dunne?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just Timothy Thatcher.
Yeah, what you making fake British? Do you know if he's British or not?
He's from Reseda, California.
And his dad died.
And his brother died in a volcano.
He's
and
got huge cleavage. It's wet.
huge cleavage.
Ah, that's wet.
This sucks.
All right, so my turn.
All right. Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Okay, so
Oh,
all right,
let's
so
go.
this one's good. This one's good. All right, so
I
this
don't
was
think
for
so.
this is for the Clown Prince, by the way. So his
a
gimmick
good name
is
on its own.
like listen to this. I get you crazier. So the gimmick is Joker Jack Hamill. You'll never understand where I got that one. His finisher is the last laugh. It's a fisherman buster.
Okay.
Backstory. His entire family died.
Oh my god.
All right, my turn.
That's it? Is that really it?
I got nothing else.
Oh no.
What the fuck? I put effort into it. Scoot.
No, you didn't.
The whole family died.
Is that really it?
I mean, I can come up with some stuff if you like.
No, all right.
No, that's
You
it. His
fucking
whole family
asshole.
died. That's
You're
it.
a shithead. All right, you fucking dick. All right, my turn. Oh, fuck.
All right.
All right, mine is for Joseph Baldasano.
Bald
not
ass
bald
Ano.
not bald ass Ano.
I assumed it was like a play on what's his name?
I thought so too, and then I
Yeah.
was like, wait, because I almost gave him a gimmick of just using ass moves.
His whole family died.
Yeah, that's a good gimmick.
No, come on, man. Of course, he's the least trustworthy man in pro wrestling who goes by the name Ken Bungalow.
All right, bro.
Ken Bungalow.
Man
That's the
said
most-
he put effort. Man said it was Ken Bungalow.
I'm gonna piss my pants.
Ken Bungalow has the pro wrestling record for most amount of times he's turned against one of his teammates, somehow trumping the likes of the Big Show. He's addicted to making people trust him, only to stab them right in the fucking back as soon as possible. One time, his latest betrayal took place in the ring, of course, where he invited his own mother to the ring to help celebrate her birthday. Only didn't kill her.
Oh no! There's a what in the bungalow?
And then eat birthday cake over her dead body. And his finisher is the fucking tornado DDT.
Oh
Finisher's that
no!
motherfucking
Oh no!
Oh.
All right, so
All right, Tony, it's your
this
turn.
might be the best gimmicks we've done yet. All right, so
Thomas White, his whole family died.
Damn, him too.
that's what motivated him to
He
be a
ate
wrestler.
cake and did a tornado DDT.
What a coincidence.
No, it's motivated him. It's a motivation.
However, his name is Thomas the Tank White,
Ah,
Choo choo.
you stole my thing.
and they don't
Oh,
call
no.
him the Tank for no reason. Choo choo. This devastating right hand called the Tank Engine knocks out his opponents. He wrestles under tank rules, which you're probably wondering what that is, but that's knockout only.
Ooh.
He's never had a match over 5 seconds. As once he gets
Holy
that right
shit.
hand, it is over.
He's like,
He doesn't get
Johnny
paid by the
Gargano.
hour.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he doesn't get paid by the hour. That's a Mara line.
Oh, man. That's the most normal one yet.
Yeah. Well, except for the family.
My next
now.
two are going down the can, by the
All right,
way. So.
go.
Well, if you got
ahead,
two more, I got one more, so I'll let you go.
Wait, how do you only have one more?
Oh, because I checked afterwards. I told you the dude that I had already. We already gave him a gimmick.
Oh, you only did 3, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, I put a lot of thought into mine, so fuck you.
What are you talking about, Count Bungalow?
Kid Bungalow murdered his mom.
Should I do another one? Do you wanna do another one?
You do another one, Tony, because I
Yeah.
got
Alright.
2 as well.
So the one and only JT Larsh, is that the full? It was like one word.
Yeah, the one and only
Billy
JT
Gunn.
Lorsch.
All right. His gimmick name is Wardlow Jr.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Following in his father's footsteps after a horrific car accident,
His father?
Wardlow Jr. is currently working the independent scene. Some of his accolades include Super Heavyweight Arm Wrestling Champion of 2019. He's won tournaments with both his left and right hand and currently holds over 50 arm wrestling titles. Wardlow Jr. also skips leg day, as he says pro wrestling is an upper body sport.
He killed the school bully.
Why is everyone dying? Why can't anyone live?
do you remember remember when Chris Statlander showed up on AEW, and then that dude was like, I don't understand why she doesn't have some sort of backstory. Like, she got abused as a kid, but turned into an alien. This is what this is.
Do you remember when Batista was like getting hot, and Vince said, you're an orphan?
You gotta give them motivators, man. These are motivators.
Oh yeah.
Wardlow Jr.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
Wardlow's dead in a car accident. That's a real person, Tony.
Yeah. Well, Goldust did it, so.
All right, fuck, Jesus Christ. All right, I'll go with one now. Oh, my fucking head hurts. Okay, this is for Inner Circle Bud Ryan. No, that's not his gimmick name.
Yeah, that's his human name.
That's his Patreon. That's his shoot name.
That's a human name. Came out.
I wanted to make that
Circle.
I wanted to make that his gimmick, but it was too obvious. So instead,
he probably wanted you to, and you're like, no.
I gave him something better, baby. A lot of wrestling fans have their favorites for one reason or another, like murder.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe because this is probably one of my most normal ones. Maybe not. Maybe because of the look or just an entrance, but no one has seen the likes of this superstar, the sickest star in the squared circle, super sick Ryan Twizzler. Ryan has had the same... Ryan Twizzler, you know, the guy. He's had the same cold for the past 26 years.
Oh, he's Bob Orton.
And it's only been getting worse for his opponents, of course.
You said this is the most normal?
Constantly coughing and sneezing on his opponents. It's so tough for them to get any offense because they're doing their best to avoid this big, nasty bastard, which obviously works in Ryan's advantage. Ryan's finisher is the cough drop, where he climbs the top rope and a massive sneeze sends his body flying in any direction, typically landing on his opponent one way or the other.
I imagine it's like Orange Cassidy's thing where he just falls.
He just sneezes.
Fucking
Ryan
hell.
Twizzler, baby.
I'm down with that. I'm cool with that.
Super
no one
sick.
died though, so.
Do you want to
He might. I mean, it sounds like he's gonna.
I mean, you need a motivator. So I mean, like
26-year cold.
that's the name of his shooting star press.
Like the 7-year age. Fuck. All right.
Do you have a really good one for the last one, James, or do you want to do?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this one's good. Yeah, I got to go. Yeah, my man Thomas here. Just Thomas, T-Dog. His gimmick is Dr. Yellow Thomas Kagayaki. His finish.
Yucky.
His finisher is the end of the line. It's a reverse Alabama slam. So,
Alabama.
Yeah, so you go from the other side.
All right.
All right, so this dude Thomas, man, he loves some trains. Like he just really likes trains a lot. Like I almost called him Thomas the Train Guy. But
I was gonna say, is he like Thomas the Tank?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I almost used Thomas the Train Guy, but I didn't. Instead, I decided to use Japanese Romaji words for
Fair
his
enough.
gimmick.
I mean,
Kagayaki is a Shinkansen. It is a train in Japan, and Dr. Yellow is a train in Japan. So,
all right, I'm with you.
Yeah, so Dr. Yellow, Thomas Kagayaki, that's it. He likes trains.
Oh my god.
You said it was a good one.
But it depends. If you're a big fan of trains, and like hell yeah, that rules. Like
I like that. Listen to last week's episode for Pulses, and then this week is like so
you
different.
did this. You did this.
How's it?
All right.
I got Cam Bungalow.
You did this.
You got another one?
He
John,
likes
after
trains.
this?
I got one last one.
Okay.
All right.
I'll
Well,
do mine.
if anyone is upset with their gimmick, then please tell me, because I know you love it. All right, go for it.
All right, I got Cliff Haynes was the
Okay.
real name, the shoot name.
Ooh.
He goes by Cliff Guerrero. He is
Oh.
Fucking
He's
goddamn it.
He's from El Paso, Delaware.
Of
And
course,
his finisher is a frog splash, of course. Cliff claims that he is reincarnated from Eddie Guerrero.
Claims.
Cliff's birthday is the exact time and date, down to the second to the day that Eddie Guerrero passed away. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to connect with the crowd because they only see him as an Eddie Guerrero ripoff, but that doesn't stop him. And also being white and slightly overweight doesn't help. He also drives to the
Gringo
ring
Loco.
in a 1994
That's
Ford
true in all
Taurus.
aspects.
Yeah, this is. It sounds like Gringo Loco.
I
But
thought the gimmick was it's Eddie pretending to not be Eddie.
Fake his
It's
death.
Eddie in glasses and a big mustache.
I didn't think of that one.
Oh, fuck.
All right, the last one.
All right, last one, which is from me, of course.
Yep.
This is for 2,000 Gregs. Alex Swisher, who in the wrestling world you know as the Big Swish.
Of course.
The Big Swish comes to us from the world of the NBA, one of the basketball's most injured athletes. Every time the Big Swish stepped onto the court, he was rolling his ankles or getting hit in the head, so much so that he was forced out of the league, which only means he was perfect for pro wrestling. Hailing from downtown,
From outer space.
the Big Swish uses his height and reach advantage to keep his opponents at a distance until it's time for hit his finisher, the Boom Shakalaka, which is a 630 elbow drop.
Then he died.
Big Swish. Into a volcano.
And his ankles explode.
He likes trains.
Yeah. Choo-choo.
He's running trains. All right. Well,
All right.
there you go. If you want one of those, that's patreon.com.
Can we just say that James?
or whatever
Can
the
we
fuck.
vote on who are the best gimmicks this week? I think it goes to James.
Oh, you want to? I like every segment having voting, like the Q&A.
You lost the Q&A thing.
I don't know. I don't know if you watched last week, but James lost the Q&A.
Oh man.
I'm not sure if you got that memo. James lost the Q&A.
I like
so...
Wardlow Jr.
Yeah, Warlow Jr. was good because Warlow just died. No, it's like, all right, damn, all right.
Well, after that cage match, you know, he was so upset with that cage match.
Yeah,
So
I understand. No, I get it.
Ken Bungalow.
Kim Bungalow, also dead. All right.
he likes trains.
No,
His family
his
died.
mom's dead. He's
Oh,
alive.
yeah, he killed his mom. My bad.
And ate cake over her body. Or something.
Fucking. All right, I'm gonna go first then.
These are the gimmicks, but with a twist.
There's 7 people that have no gimmick needed.
We'll get you on the flip side, all right? Don't worry.
All right, let's see here. Who am I gonna start with here?
I could go if you want.
All right, you can start first.
I have Randy Sersen, I think is how you pronounce it. SRSEN. I went and changed his name to Randy Siren.
Ooh.
Great game, great name. His finisher is the Air Raid. He's from
of
Las
course.
Vegas, Nevada. Loud and brash, he is known as Always On Randy Siren. When he enters the room, he makes sure that you know his name. He's most voted likely to win an Oscar by his high school in 1991.
Wow.
He was destined to be a star until one fateful
How old
night.
is this guy? Oh no.
It was a cold fall night.
No.
It doesn't matter how old he is.
In the Southeast Hampton Hogs
What?
versus West Side in the Friday Night Football game.
Oh,
Randy,
no.
the star quarterback, took a bad hit to his Achilles and he was out. His
Brutal.
dreams of being a pro wrestling athlete were over. Ever since then, he vowed to succeed. He used his charm and his huge personality. Randy became one of the best managers in the history of pro wrestling.
I thought you were going to
His
say
brother
he killed
died.
somebody.
and his brother died.
No, I opted for no murder this time.
All right. Mine is, this is for username Black Ops Tejner. The first YouTuber with over 1 million subs to become a pro wrestler. Username Beanbag Benny comes to the ring with an undeserved confidence. Starting every match with a promo, beginning with, "What's up everybody, it's your boy Beanbag Benny, back at it again with another match." He has quickly become one of the most hated wrestlers on the scene, but despite that, his sub count keeps growing by the minute. His finisher is the demonetization, where he yells a swear word at his opponent and then loses a lot of fucking money.
You could have made this the Byron Saxton finisher.
No, fuck that move.
The Saxtonation, the demonetization.
That's just that. I need a visual. I'm gonna have Pedro draw that this week.
Yeah,
Get
he can't. No one can. It's fucking impossible.
Oh my god.
All right, Tony, go ahead.
All right, I had Dylan
Pulse, you want
Barnes.
to do one on the fly?
No.
Try one on the fly.
The second YouTuber to become a pro wrestler.
Do one for Tyler Late.
No.
Just do it on the fly. Just come up with something.
Tyler
I want to see how
Lake.
creative you are.
I'm not creative at all.
I'll give you 15 seconds. Just come up with anything. All right, here we go. I'm counting down.
Tyler Late but with a twist.
What's the twist?
Dash TL.
All right, Tony, go on.
All right. These are jokes for two people. All right. Serious gimmick here, okay?
Serious.
I have Dylan Barnes. I decided to go what?
Sick.
That's his real name. I decided to keep his name Dylan Barnes.
All right.
And his gimmick is he's the exalted one.
What?
Oh.
The exalted one is Dylan Barnes?
That's it.
But with a twist.
Dude, what a twist.
That's it.
That
He's
really
exalted.
it?
Yeah, that's it.
You're an
That's the
asshole.
exalted one.
His brother died.
He's going to come out as the exalted
What a
one.
shithead. All right.
It's more better than Christopher Daniels, right?
I'll take it.
Oh, God. All right. Mine is for Jordan Illigan, which was somebody that went from $5 to a $10 pledge, actually. So that's pretty sweet.
Ooh.
Let's see here. Okay. Oh, I don't know why I put this. Jordan's new name is Mario Tip Clip.
Okay.
When Mario got into the wrestling business, the last thing he would thought about being was a referee. He hated the idea of being an official and how dangerous it is to put on that striped shirt. But somehow, this turned Mario's career into much more than he even anticipated, as he is the first man to legally, simultaneously officiate and wrestle in the same match. Mario Tipclip is so talented and so worth that 2-for-1 price that he offers that companies just can't pass up the chance to have him wrestle and referee his match every chance he gets, with him surprisingly winning every single
This is
contest
very
that
biased.
he's in. I mean, I don't know. I can't say, but I mean, he often wins somehow. His finisher is the ref bump, where his opponent hits him with a big move and pins him, and then nothing happens because he's knocked out until he comes
That would be the
back into
best thing
consciousness
ever.
and rolls him up for a quick 3 count.
That sounds like James' finish he came up with. I'm going to pin him.
My finisher is I win.
My finisher is you lose.
That's 6,000 IQ.
That's pretty good. All right, go ahead, Tony.
All right, I had Cactus Boy, B-O-I.
But just Cactus Jack.
He's the exalted one.
Once. He's decided to keep the name Cactus Boy.
Well,
He's
good
from
for him.
Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
Oh,
His
Christ.
finisher is the Cactus Driver. Changed it up a little bit.
Is it a pile driver?
He's a
Or is it
cactus
a double
driver?
arm DDT?
The Cactus Driver.
Oh, I thought you said he was a
Son.
cactus driver, like a cab driver.
Yes, he
He's
drives
he's a
cactuses.
cacti chauffeur.
Pioneers to drive these babies from mall.
All right. The son of Cactus Jack, Cactus Boy, wants to be the new
Cactus.
hardcore. What did you
Go
say,
ahead.
James? Cactus Boy.
Don't listen to this fucking guy.
He's willing to do anything and everything to become a true
Ooh.
legend in the ring. After many years of backyard wrestling, Cactus Boy already shows early signs of CTE, but that doesn't matter because he's hardcore. He has a very short attention span, obviously, and he forgets the spots in the match easily. So most people assume he's just an asshole and he's going into business for himself. But that's not the thing. He just wants to be hardcore.
I got off the plane with 3rd-degree burns. Just to come and fight you. At ECW.
Like he has CTE at a young age because his dad was beating his ass.
No, I never said that.
That's what I got from it.
That was his brother.
Oh, he died.
That was Kayak Jones.
Kayak Jones. What a legend.
Unbeatable.
All right. Next up is for Jordan Jones. Coming to the ring, weighing in at well over 200,000 calories, hailing from deep in Dish, Texas, the only wrestler that can guarantee a victory in 15 minutes or less, stuffed crust Anthony Mozzarella.
15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes or less. The greasiest, cheesiest wrestler that's ever rolled into a ring, Anthony Mozzarella, always impresses the audience with his track record, and his Grubhub reviews are always similar to his match ratings, nothing less than 5 stars. His finisher is the PDBOP, which stands for Pineapples Don't Belong on Pizza, where he flattens his opponent with a variation of the Tour of the Islands, because it's backwards.
He's got heat with Tony, dude.
That's his rival. I almost just named it Tony's shoot name. It was just about to be Tony.
That's a weird gimmick, Tony's shoot name.
You should have done that.
I didn't know. I didn't want
his
Tony to be
family.
mad at me. Anthony Mozzarella, baby. That should be your YouTube
I
name
like that
instead.
name. I like that.
All right, go on.
One time, Donkey called me Tony Pizzone.
Good name.
All right.
Zone.
Is that C Dribble? Was that the name, or C Double, something like that?
I like C Dribble. That should be his
I
name.
think
It's C double.
C Double. Okay.
Fuck that.
All right. So I came up with the name Palmiro Akbar is his full wrestling name.
Okay.
He is from Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay.
This private investigator showed up on the scene after a mysterious murder took place. Shane McMahon was presumed dead after many clues
What?
pointed to a homicide. The body of Shane McMahon, however, was never found. That's when WWE hired him.
What?
Vince, Shane, Stephanie, and Linda and Hunter, they wanted to solve this murder of the missing McMahon after months of work. They were about to give up when Shane McMahon was alive the entire time.
Oh my
but
God.
He showed up on AEW Dynamite.
What a twist.
What a
Him and
twist.
Akbar falsified the insurance policy and cashed in on huge amounts of WWE stock to make sure that AEW won the Wednesday Night War. And as he always says, I knew you wouldn't be able to see through it. He then became a wrestler in AEW.
Why does he say that?
It's like in Fire Pro. It's like, Tanahashi always says, I love you.
So there it is. Shane was never dead. He
So
just
Shane
joined-
died but didn't die.
They never found his body. So.
General Akbar has the case.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, Anakin Skywalker, private investor.
Oh, fuck. You should have just left Shane dead. I like that part more.
I was trying to go no murder this one, but
Oh, fuck, dude. Come on. Murder's over.
Yeah, murder's it.
Dude, Paul's did 6 gimmicks this week, and they're all dead already. Didn't even get a gimmick. They died.
They made a faction, and they all died.
Oh, yeah?
they
What's
joined the
that
new
faction
brood.
called?
The new brood, but with a twist.
My next gimmick.
Wait, no. Yeah, what people am I supposed to be doing? I'll look at it real quick. I'll tell you what their new name is.
All right, hold on. Profile username 138.
Oh, man, what the hell?
To Gene Lashley, Miles Poindexter, Tyler Hedgeland, Omar Ruiz, and Jimmy Darrow.
Yeah, all these, they're in a group.
He did one over-encompassing gimmick. All right, I like it. What's their group? Are they vampires? They be sucking.
Maybe. What about fish stick?
No, in the group. The
Yeah.
gay brood.
They're the gay brood.
It's the brood. But with a twist. And they all died.
You know what? It's probably better you didn't do any fucking gimmicks. You
true.
suck.
I'm off a bean.
That's pretty true.
That's true.
Oh, my fucking face. Okay, I got fucking someone. I don't know. What is this? Motherfucking ass. Edward Sherman I got here. Oh, God. The biggest impersonator in the history of the business who actually doesn't have his own name. He doesn't even have his own hometown, his own finisher, and somehow he doesn't even have his own height or weight. Many refer to him as a pervert or that weird thief guy, but some are calling him a damn genius. Every opponent he has, he plans ahead, making sure to match every single part of them down to their look, to how much water they pour on themselves, because before a match, every wrestler looks fucking real moist for some reason. He steals every bit that he can from them. There was even one time where he wrestled a 500-pound man and showed up just looking like him, big and fat. The crowd is always confused, never knowing which person in the ring to boo or cheer for. I'm not even sure how many matches he's won or lost. This shit's confusing. There you go.
I imagine like Mean Gene saying, "This shit's confusing."
He's just Ditto the wrestler.
He diddled the wrestler?
What the fuck? No.
That was a twist.
No.
I think I killed Johnny.
No. Ditto. The Pokemon.
Poking man?
Yeah, it's like the
He's
Boogeyman.
poking men? Was that what you said?
The Boogeyman, except you catch
They
the
made
Pokemon.
With a
Pokemon.
twist.
All right, Tony.
All right, Dario Brazil? I can't pronounce it. Brizuela. We didn't do that one last week. I know we did.
I don't know.
I came up with Flynn Ocean.
Ooh.
He's from Burbank, California. His finisher is the cannonball, which is, off the diving board, you just cannonball. That's the same
Yeah,
thing.
he brings in a
But-
diving board.
Nice.
No, the top
Props.
rope, he just
No, I like
tucks
that.
and
No, he
lands
should
on
have
him.
it.
Props in the
Like
ring.
a diving board, too?
Yeah.
All right, we'll figure it out. Flynn Ocean was an Olympic athlete who got busted for using PED during the 2000 Summer Olympics in Australia.
Free my man.
This embarrassment...
Free all my homies
yeah,
that died, goddammit.
He embarrassed the entire Team USA and was barred from ever competing in swimming Olympics ever again. WWE heard of this incident and hired him right away. WWE was a different time in 2000. So they capitalized on this and made
now?
him the top heel and had him team up with Kurt Angle.
Oh,
Quickly,
God.
Flynn Ocean turned on Kurt Angle after planting PEDs on him and making Kurt Angle miss WrestleMania. Flynn then went on to become a 12-time WWE champion and a WWE Hall of Famer.
Is Flint otherwise known as Eric Angle?
Yeah, call me Eric Angle.
I did not actually think of that, but
Eric Angle's crazy, man. We should have done
Yeah,
that.
he's wild. His titties
No,
are
no, he's
crazy.
wild.
His
Some videos out
chest
there
is
about
out
him.
of control.
All right, I got Shelby Eustace. Excuse me. Oh, God, I'm dying. Help. Fuck. That's not the gimmick. That's me.
No, that is
you
the
want
game.
me to do it?
We all know that WWE loves bringing in talent that are popular in other professions, as Tony just mentioned, and this talent
Ooh.
is no different. Recently signed to NXT, Veronica Cockatiel was signed due to being the best magician and You okay?
But he said her name.
Veronica Cockatiel.
Cock a deal.
Yeah. Best magician and illusionist in the world. Veronica seemingly appears out of thin air when coming to the ring and not giving their opponent any chance to prepare themselves before having a bunch of throwing cards shot right at their neck.
Oh, there is
Veronica-
murder.
Hell yeah, baby.
Oh, good.
Veronica typically makes quick work of their opponents using signature moves like the sleight of hand, which is a spinning back fist, and the misdirection, which is the rainmaker, to keep opponents guessing. Sometimes she'll even pull a rabbit out of a hat and smash the opponent over the head with it.
With the rabbit?
So that's, it's animal
the
murder
rabbit?
too. We're crazy out here.
Yeah, all right.
The finisher is the levitation act, where Veronica climbs to the top rope, floats towards the middle of the ring, levitates over her opponent, and delivers a double stomp to the top of their head.
She's on a bean, bro. What the fuck's going on here?
Fucking illusionist, baby.
The rabbit?
Yeah, man, rabbit out of the hat, smashing people in the head with
Wow.
it. Veronica
You got any more,
Cockatiel.
James? You got another one?
No, you did a whole group.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got my
yeah.
whole group.
They're all in one stable.
A symbol.
Gabe Rude.
Yeah, Gabe Rude a symbol. Please report.
You got one more, Johnny, right? Yeah. Or
I
is
got
that it?
2 more.
Oh, I got one more. Okay.
How do you have 1 more?
Got you.
You got it.
How did I do 1 more than you?
Got you.
How did James do?
How James do none?
Call
That's
me
a good
Eric
question.
Angle. Call
All right,
me Eric.
I got my last one is Joe Compton, but that's his real name. His gimmick name is Marmaduke Fox.
What?
From
His name
Ann
was
Arbor,
cool.
Michigan. No, he's Marmaduke
I like
Fox.
Carl, dude.
What's he doing?
As Alicia Fox's brother,
His
pro wrestling
brother.
was
Who's
in his
dead?
was in his blood. Early in life, his parents discouraged him from pursuing any career in professional wrestling due to the major amount of time spent away from home and family. Fox, however, still became involved with wrestling, taking up amateur wrestling as a kid. Soon after, his passion took over. However, it was his sister, Alicia Fox, who found success way before him.
Wow.
That made him very angry and resentful. During a family vacation to Hawaii,
Oh God.
Oh
he
no.
was taking some family photos and accidentally knocked his sister into a volcano. She didn't die though.
Oh, what?
But
She
she was-
became volcano. And it comes full circle. Alicia Fox listens to the pod.
But she was very badly burned and had to retire from wrestling because
Damn.
WWE felt
Oh,
bad
that's
for
why.
him. Because WWE felt bad for him, they gave him a tryout at the WPC.
What?
He said, "You are a attempted murderer. Come on down."
No. He then spent the rest of his life in and out of NXT and developmental.
Wow.
That was
That
that
was
sucks.
a roller coaster. Yeah, that's a horrible story.
So wait, you're telling me? So he almost kills his sister, and then he gets to go to NXT.
No, it was an act. It was an accident. Only we know, like we're breaking the fourth wall. You know,
I don't want to be a part of this.
it was an accident.
I don't want to be questioned.
Alicia Fox, yeah, look at my brother. All right.
All right, I got 2 more here.
All right.
Somehow, what the fuck?
Played.
Did you skip somebody?
Me?
Skewed,
Yeah.
screwed, played.
No, I
got
did them all. I
bamboozled.
did them all.
Let me see. I'm gonna check your list.
I did them all.
Who was your last one?
Joe Compton.
Compton. I don't know. I don't believe you.
Eric Angle.
I'm calling shenanigans on both you fucking assholes this week. This is
What?
bullshit. You especially.
I'm new.
All right. This one is for Mystery Santana. With a name like that, I could have changed it. They call him Mystery Santana because the only thing anyone ever hears coming from inside of his vehicle is Smooth by Santana. The only reason wrestling fans know this mystery man is because before every wrestling event that takes place in the state of Florida, you can find his jet black BMW i8 cruising around the arena, windows rolled up, and loud thumping sounds of the song playing inside. He always waits until he sees wrestlers coming into the building, only to try to run them over.
Oh,
The theory
shit.
is that he's another wrestler trying to eliminate all the other talent in Florida so he can be the last one left to get a contract and work the coconut loop. But we can't
Not
be
the
so
coconut
sure.
loop. He works it
He's
with Alicia
taken out-
Fox's brother.
Many talents in his lifetime that we haven't heard about since, like Nathan Jones, Mordecai, Cheeks, and the entire NXT UK roster.
Nathan Jones.
Yeah, when was the last time you heard Nathan Jones?
The other week.
No, you didn't.
The last Deadlock episode.
Oh, no.
Yeah, call me Nathan Jones. I try to bring him up every week, damn it.
All right, last but not least, Blaine Watson, the slimiest wrestler to schmooze his way into another gig. It's none other than the wrestler known as Rickery Dickory Doc. Rickery Dickory Doc started his career as a comedian, telling his edgy, offensive jokes in comedy basements all around the city of New York. Despite loving how grimy the comedy business was and how often he was able to rip off paying customers with his terrible acts, nothing makes him happier than ripping off the fans of the most disgusting business in the world, pro wrestling.
Carney.
Rickery Dickory Doc comes to the ring dripping in sweat, smelling like he hasn't showered in at least 3 months. The people just can't help but boo and throw various drinks at him, trying to fit a punchline between every move and yelling out, "Oh!" after he hits someone. Rickery Dickory Doc cares more about making himself laugh than getting the job done. His finisher is the Humpty Dumpty, where he calls someone's mother a whore.
God damn it. What was it doing?
There you go.
They have to say his full name, right? Every time.
Oh
On
yeah, it's like,
commentate.
yeah, it's in caps too, like Kenta.
That was going to be my wrestling name, dude. James.
Just all caps.
Yeah, all caps. Stylized.
There you go. $10 Patreon gets you a gimmick and hopefully more stuff soon. We're in the grind. We're talking about it out here. But thank you for continuing to support the podcast, and hopefully all the people in the gay brood that died don't mind that gimmick.
Good gimmick. Yeah, twist to it.
Yeah, great gimmick.
All the best gimmicks have a
Good
twist.
gimmick. Very good gimmick.
Great gimmick. Best gimmick.
All right, so who wants to kick off these gimmicks here? We have 4 each.
So let me explain this. So we
Go ahead.
decided instead of like having 37 gimmicks, 8 gimmicks,
What?
we were gonna do 12 gimmicks for each.
I love the idea of
Yeah.
Stone Cold wetting himself.
He's gonna have to. We'll talk about that soon, though.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
Oh,
so we're
that is true.
gonna we're obviously back a little bit because we did a couple weeks of we did a pay-per-view show, and then the week before that I forget what happened. Something happened. Oh, we were all away for like other shit or something like that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna all we have 4 each this week. Next week we'll do 4 each again, and we'll just keep doing that until we catch up. So thank you for your patientos.
Yeah, so feel free to keep signing up for the $10 tier. We'll put you in the queue, and then maybe in 6 to 9 weeks we'll get
Now we have like a $15 tier. What's happening here?
Yeah,
Sure.
dude, I don't know what to do with him. All right, Tony, I think you go first because you're the
Yeah,
guy.
go for it.
We got Nathan Schmidt
Ooh,
on the
Schmidt?
back catalog.
this man,
Schmidt.
Schmidtmeister.
Big man.
Oh, I didn't go for Schmidtmeister. I should have.
You can change it on the fly. No one knows.
Yeah,
Call in the ring.
Call in the ring, kid. I'm taking liberties tonight, baby.
Mr. Liberties tonight, Nathan.
Call in the ring, Nathan Schmidt.
That's it. All right, good round, Tony.
I love
you
it.
win that one.
You won the deadlock.
No, it was Nate Schmitty was his name. Schmitty from New York, New York.
Mhm.
Ever since he was a young boy, he didn't want to be a wrestler. He wanted to be a referee. He loved being a referee. But he was dealt a bad hand when he was born.
Oh,
Like
no.
literally.
Literally, he is blind.
He has bad hands.
That's what you should know. He can't hit the mat.
Shit.
Come on, Tony.
On the fly, Tony. He's got bad
Come on, call
hands.
to the ring, bro.
He's
It's
got
fine.
bad hands.
It's just extra story.
Come on, man. Call it on the podcast, Tony. Just come on.
He takes liberties and
Because of his hands. He gets away with it
He
because they feel
shoots
bad.
on all the rest. Schmitty shoots on the
Shooter Schmitty.
no
they
hands.
call
Schmitty
Dude, he's
McShooter.
an asshole. Oh, man. All right, keep it going.
Fuck
Keep
you
it
and your
going.
shitty hand, Schmitty.
Keep it going. Shitty Schmitty back at it again.
Can we re-record the show? Already off
shitty
the
McShitty.
I've been
rails.
locked in my house for a week.
You went to the movies. Go fuck yourself.
All right. All
right, go on,
He was
sorry.
dealt a bad hand, but not no hands. He was born blind and deaf.
Oh,
That's
Jesus.
even worse.
He could not be distracted by anything, and he
Oh, that's
actually
good.
refs by his intense sense of smell.
Neat.
Senior referee Nate Schmitty has grown to be one of the best referees in the entire business because, again, he can't be distracted.
Wow. All right.
All right.
Damn.
But I could have gone no hands and call it on the
Could've
fly.
gone a lot of ways you could have went there.
I'll get you
yeah.
next time, buddy. House is down.
That shit's crazy.
Schmitty is a
you want me to go
promoter
or
that
you
doesn't
going?
pay the boys. Huh?
You want me to go or you?
Yeah, you can go.
All right. This is for I think I assume it's pronounced Hayden. Hayden Kagel or Kagel. I fucked this name
Try it
up
again.
big time here. Hayden. Kagel. Hi.
So what'd you rename him?
Well, he hails from an undisclosed location, and only wants to go by his Twitter username, which is X452TOLT40.
Nice.
Despite being one of the best technical wrestlers in the game today, his biggest concern is the idea that everyone around him doesn't see things the same way he does. He believes in every conspiracy theory imaginable.
Ooh, nice.
The moon landing was fake, aliens did 9/11, and that politicians are lizard people. His weekly promo consists of a 14-minute rant calling out all the sheeple in the audience, hoping that every one of them out there will listen to his words and accept his real truth.
That was
His
Alex
biggest
Jones.
adversary. Yeah. Hey, it goes by his Twitter name. We don't know his real name. It could be.
It's the fucking Kim's turn the frogs gay.
Well, now that you say that,
Call it on the fly.
his biggest adversary as of late has been the gay brood, who he says created the coronavirus.
Yes.
No.
His finish is called the Flat Earth, which is the world's strongest slam from the top rope.
That rules.
All right, what about you?
All right. So my dude's name, well, his gimmick name
Shoot
that he
name.
gave himself was Poindexter. I guess that's his Twitter handle, probably.
Dexter.
So I gave him the gimmick, Mr. Dr. Professor Dexter. His finisher is 300 milligrams, and it's a Benadryller.
Okay, cool.
And his story is a profound professor at a local community college that also just happens to have a PhD. Dexter wanted more than to be a big ass nerd. He wanted to be a man. He wanted to be the man.
Ooh.
And that's when he picked up wrestling. Dexter put on over 50 pounds of pure muscle mass
Damn. All right.
after watching Scott Steiner's workout videos on YouTube
Oh,
With the girls?
with the girls.
Oh, shit.
And now instead of being the one who gets his ass kicked, he gives the ass kickings.
Oh, yeah.
Still has a PhD.
But what's his finish? Oh, it's Benadryl.
Yeah,
right?
it's 300 milligrams. That rules.
That's his dosage.
Yes.
That's cool.
yes.
Cool. Sweet.
Correct. You are. Yep.
Nice. I get it.
All right, Tony. You're good.
All right, Tony.
Oh, this is Spumoni Black is his handle, I guess. His
All right.
Patreon name. So he went SBK is his name. So growing up a fan of HBK, obviously he took the name SBK to prove he's the best wrestler on the planet, utilizing the sweeter chin music.
Nice.
It makes everything look easy. He's been too damn good for too long. And he believes storytelling is the least important aspect of the biz. He puts it all on the line every
too.
time he's out there and delivers that devastating elbow from the top rope. That's SBK.
Is he in NXT? It sounds like he's in NXT.
He empties the tank. He calls it on the fly.
And he
does it
doesn't
all.
have any hands.
And his brother died.
Volcano.
All right.
Oh, shit.
You're
all
good.
right.
No hands.
Mine is for Tajine Lashley, is their name here.
Tejan.
No, it's Tajine. Thank you. Is he one of the ones that yelled at us
Yes!
for fucking his name up? I thought that, and I knew I was gonna fuck it up, so I'm glad that I did.
Yeah, perfect. All right, go
Oh,
for it.
Tejan, baby. All right. Hailing from the backyard, the Pitbull Gregory Frisco is a pro wrestling prospect, hoping to come to the squared circle with a group of family members surrounding him, much like an MMA fighter typically would. Gregory isn't your average wrestler, because he's coming into this with, well, not really a lot of talent at all. He's a proclaimed mixed martial artist, but he's only ever fought in his backyard.
Hell yeah, Kimbo's life.
He isn't trained at all. He's only ever participated in fights with other people in the neighborhood. With a record of 14-40, Gregory decided to tip his hog into the world of pro wrestling by
bro.
training at his local wrestling school. He hasn't had any matches yet, but his finisher will probably be a fucking armbar.
His finish is you lay the fuck down for me.
You lay down off shoot.
Take a liberty tonight,
Call on the
kid.
fly.
The Pitbull, baby.
All right.
Woo.
I got Tyler Blackheart, which already sounds like a gimmick name, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it does.
So I just gave him the name Nightfall Tyler Limbo. His finisher is the Surface Breaker, which is a fucking running awesome bomb because that move kicks ass.
It does. I mean, that's...
Hell yeah, that move rules. So Historia is mostly seen standing on the side of buildings with a cigarette in his mouth at 6 p.m. Tyler Limbo isn't one to be confrontational. His nickname Nightfall comes from the fact that nobody ever sees his ass when the sun's up. He's a night walker. Not a huge man by any means, but Tyler has some hidden strength as he never has an issue putting people away with his Surface Breaker finisher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
with the cigarette in his mouth. He has it in the whole time.
Sounds like
he's
a
in the
little
match,
pervert.
too. What? He's just smoking. Just smoking.
Was he?
cigs.
He's outside, or is he like at a high school? Like, what's he doing?
Yeah, it's actually right outside high school.
I keep getting older, and they stay the same age.
All right.
That rules. There you go.
Cool. Perfect. I like it.
Yeah, it is
All right,
what it
Tony.
is.
All right, we have JP Wheeze, I think.
Wheezy.
We'll go with that. Wheezy?
Wheezy.
You know about
He's got asthma.
I should have had you do these games. All right, mine's a little bit different.
All right.
He's
I like
just going by JP, because why not?
JP.
When JP died 8 years ago
Oh my
due to a horrible volcano accident, his family
it. Wait a second.
was devastated. Unable to cope with the loss, his family did the only thing they could do and bring him back from the dead. So they took him to the pet cemetery. They buried him in the grave of their old cat, Mittens. 24 hours later, JP came back alive, and now he's feline a bit different.
Oh, wow.
He's a,
Jesus.
he's a cat. Yeah, he's just a cat now.
Tony, you smoking crack?
I would have gave him the gimmick from Grandma's Boy. My name is JP. I am a robot. I like robots. I have a robot vagina.
Dude, I don't know if anyone's died in my family, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go bury him.
I'm a cat, baby.
No, he's a cat. He just plays the
Damn.
string.
He's a Khajiit.
Cat. Cool.
Yeah, go
What's his
for it.
finish?
The pounce.
Yeah.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go. All right. I got underscore profile username 138 underscore.
My man.
That's my dude.
Hell yeah.
Is that
Hailing
his
from
gimmick name?
no, it is not. Hailing from Hygiene, Colorado.
Nice.
Jeremiah Deltoid is probably one of the more frustrating problems to deal with in a sport like pro wrestling. I mean, he's not blind and deaf like fucking Tony's guy, but with a mean case of OCD, Jeremiah insists on hitting every single move that he does 3 times in a row before he can continue with the rest of the match.
Johnny Gargano? What is this?
3 headlocks in a row, 3 Irish whips in a row, sometimes even 3 shooting star presses in a row. His contests often end up going to a no contest due to a time limit draw from how long it takes him to get any major offense, seeing as his opponents quickly figure out what the fuck he's going to do next. But when Jeremiah does get the victory, the sound of the ref's hand hitting the mat 3 times in a row is more satisfying than the win itself. Jeremiah's finisher is the 3 amigos, except he has to do 3 amigos 3 times in a row, so it's 9 suplexes.
9 amigos. He has a lot of friends.
Old Jeremiah Deltoid.
Nice.
There you go.
Johnny Gargano.
Lego?
Yeah.
Okay. I had Omar Ruiz. His gimmick is
Omar.
Doppelganger X. His
shit.
finisher is whatever the fuck it needs to be. His story is the backstory is he is you and you and you. He's everybody. Doppelganger X becomes who he faces. Same gimmick, same move, same everything, except with the X behind his name. And the X is for his brother, who died.
Fuck.
Is that the gimmick?
And that's Doppelganger X.
I'm calling stolen valor on that, you fuck. I did that gimmick like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he did.
Well, mine's better because his brother died.
Because his brother died. You fucking asshole.
You stole it from Sakura Hiroda, so suck my whole dick.
I stole it from Ditto from Pokemon.
Yeah, well, your brother didn't die, so suck it.
Yeah, you're right. I don't got a brother because he's dead.
Yeah, you don't have any story, no storytelling in your character. Sad.
I don't need it.
Sad.
JPK or whatever the fuck.
SBK.
SBK, sorry. All right, Tony, go on.
I have Shushi Dozen. I think is how you pronounce that name. He is Doppelganger Y.
Ricky Dozen?
He is Doppelganger Y.
Oh, it's he too.
Doppelganger
Because
Y.
it's brother.
Oh,
His
shit.
brother.
You had a brother too?
Yeah, he was.
XYZ brother cannon.
Doppelganger brood.
All right, we have actually James McBumshoulder. He is from the internet, and his finisher is a pin.
Stolen valor.
I almost did this too.
James is a YouTuber I've been watching since I was 14 years old. This power lifter hurt his shoulder even before he made it into the wrestling ring. Now a one-armed man, he's an ass-kicking content on the internet. James uses his pain to his advantage in all of his matches, but they mostly consist of inside jokes that only his Discord server gets.
Yeah, that's true. And that's pretty true.
And that's true. Dude, I swear I almost did the same thing. I
Yeah,
swear
my shoulder
Let's do
appreciates it.
Doppelganger, yeah.
Doppelganger Z.
Yeah, XYZ brother cannon. They all died.
The Doppelganger gang.
They're all in the gay corporation.
They're in the Neo Corporation.
All right, I got Tyler Late, hailing from the Eastern Bloc.
No, of course.
He wrestled as Shotgun Samson. Shotgun Samson is a retired legendary deathmatch wrestler. Shotgun earned his name after a long rival feud in the Mid-South against fat-ass Frank Pachichi, where he
nice.
lost in their final match. There was a lot of Pachichi. There was a lot of politicals backstage about how the match would end, and Samson just didn't like it. So after the match, he pulled out a shotgun from under the ring and blew Frank's motherfucking head off. He's been in jail ever since, and his finisher was a brain buster.
It's
That's like the
Fisher,
cherry
he's a
on
Boston
top.
Crab.
Jay on top. Brainbuster.
Yeah, brain buster. Cool.
It is brother.
Yeah, and then, he got a letter in jail from his brother.
Who lost his eyes.
He had a dark past.
He had some problems. He couldn't see. His brother.
So the next gimmick Is this the last one? Is this the last
Yeah,
gimmick?
Yeah, this is it.
Main
Okay.
event.
Cool. All right, so I
Then
had
we, decide
Jimmy.
then we decide who won.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
And
pretty
that's
true. That's gonna be one of my spots, by the way. That's gonna do a whole promo.
And that's
I would
true.
do a whole promo like, yeah, that's pretty
That should
true.
be your catchphrase.
And yeah, that's true. Jimmy Darrow is the last guy here. His
right.
gimmick is Big Jim Darius, and his finisher is the Fuck Destroyer.
Yeah, buddy.
So his backstory is Man is big. People call him
This man
Big Jim because he's very big. He throws his weight around. People don't fuck with this guy. He's snug as fuck. He doesn't sell. He ain't doing shit.
Is this just Tony's last gimmick? Does he have a bum shoulder too?
No, hold on. I gotta get to the end of it here. Big Jim
His
is in
brother.
the business for himself and for his brother.
Oh Christ! Not his brother.
His finisher, the Fuck Destroyer, just tosses you like a sack of farts. Protect yourself or don't. Big Jim really doesn't give a shit what you do.
Taking liberties.
Yeah, well, yeah, you already know.
I was gonna say that's you.
I just gave him my gimmick.
You're Big Jim.
Exactly.
Tony already gave your gimmick to somebody else.
Well,
Damn. All right, who wins?
I don't know.
I think Tony. I don't know, man. I feel like the ones we were coming up for,
I mean-
Tony win this week.
Yeah, I think the
completely
ones that
honest,
you made up on the
nobody
fly one.
All right,
Nobody ever
We all
wins.
win collectively.
Nobody ever wins. So you want me to start with the gimmick?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start. All right,
Cool.
I had Noah Joestar,
Whoa.
and his gimmick is Noah Joestar, because the name's
All right.
kind of sweet. Anyways, I like it.
I like it. It's cool.
Finisher is all or nothing. It's a heart punch. His backstory is a timid kid from wealth. Noah would join wrestling as a way to toughen up. He would lose and lose and lose, and people would take liberties on him on a daily basis, purposely, as a way
Wow.
so he could become stronger at heart. It wasn't until he met his future rival, who taught him the heart punch, that he realized that he had become what he set out to become, a man.
Nice.
A man.
Yes,
A real man.
Cool.
Look at that. I
What was it?
made
No Joe? Is that what you said it was?
Noah Joestar.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. My
It's got
man.
a little twang. I like the little twang.
Oh yeah, you know that's a
Little
gimmick.
twang to it. All right, you want me to go next?
Sure.
All right. I got Brendan Carranza here, and his name is Timmy Pez. Timmy Pez was raised in a small cabin in the woods by his crazy ass parents. They raised him to
Dope.
They raised him to love the environment, which is obviously not something smelly wrestling fans can appreciate.
Oh.
After getting into the wrestling business, I gotta clear my throat. Hold on a second. He saw. I was doing that Beavis voice again. That's my shit up. After getting into the wrestling business, he sought out to convert everyone into being tree lovers just like him, but by brute force. His in-ring display has slowly turned from a technical showcase and is showing the audience what it would feel like if they were cut down like a tree was. He carries a big fucking axe to the ring and chops off various limbs of his opponents. In the last company he worked in, actually.
Wait, what?
He barged... Keep up.
You don't know my pain. There's a demon inside of me.
In the last company he worked in, he barged into the Booker man's office and said, "Meet me in the ring in 30 minutes or I'm going to saw your body parts off."
30 seconds.
You know what? 30 seconds. And his finisher is fucking murder.
You fucking die or something.
Yeah. Chops your body parts off.
Sweet.
Timmy Pez.
Nice. That sounds familiar.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All
All
right.
right, we had Ryan the H.
Oh, this guy's Ric Flair.
His gimmick is an ass kicker, bald headed, double knee brace.
Whoa, hey James, how about you chill?
Tell him.
Don't
Tony.
spoil my gimmick.
Yeah,
before
go
I
for
figure it out.
Yeah, what the fuck? He's reading the spoilers. Ryan
My
Satin
bad,
sending the
my
spoilers.
bad, my bad.
On the satin sheet, the bald-headed BMF, Ryan the H. He is hometown hero Ryan Hart.
Ooh.
He is a graduate of your local high school. The hometown hero is the greatest enhancement talent of all time. Knowing that he will never make the main events, Ryan Hart decided he would pick up the philosophy, pin me and pay me. Never afraid to do a job, Ryan is there to put over the next big star. As a graduate of your local high school, he enters wearing your local sports team jersey. One of the perks is that he doesn't have to work very hard and he doesn't go to the gym at all. So even though he hasn't made it to the main roster, Ryan Hart has wrestled in many promotions, including WWE, AEW, Impact, ROH, and NWA.
Wow, dude.
My
local high school.
That's crazy.
Your local high school.
Damn, I don't
wearing
remember
your
seeing him
local
there.
sports team.
His finisher, Ryan the H Stunner.
He never gets his finisher off. He's a jabroni.
That's true.
Yeah.
His finish is pin me.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like James, but
That's actually my gimmick. I love it.
All right, what you got for me, big man?
All right, so dude's name was Tango. Gimmick is
Tango.
yeah, Tango. There's a zero in there somewhere.
Gotcha.
Gimmick
Xbox Live.
is Astonishing John Tango. His finisher is from the grave. It's the ghetto clutch. You guys ever seen that pin before?
I know the name. I can't
So
visualize.
like the
Explain.
person's sitting on all fours, and
Yes.
you kind
Ooh,
of stand
okay.
on top of them like you're going to a camel clutch, and then you push their neck
Oh,
into
and then
the
you
mat.
roll. Yeah.
So the backstory is John has cheated death more times than he can count. He has a knack of escaping dire situations by the skin of his teeth. He has caught so many people off guard with his from the grave pin that people mind game themselves into losing. If he had a luck attribute, it would be maxed out. And there you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This man's so lucky.
He's astonishing.
What kind of? I'm just curious. What kind of haircut you think he would have?
He's bald. He has double knee braces.
His finisher is a stunner.
John Tango
just-
Stunner.
Just what I was thinking.
I'm glad that you know.
James, don't make fun of my boy Red Hot Sean Texas, okay?
That's like a 5-star gimmick. I love it. All right.
I miss Joey Canoe or whatever the fuck.
Kayak Joe.
Joey Canoe.
Joey Canoe.
Joey can do
You
it.
better
Kayak
change
Joe.
your gimmick
That's
quick.
my next gimmick, actually.
Yeah, perfect. Calling on the fly.
I'm gonna call it in the ring.
30
right.
seconds.
30 minutes. All right, I got Heath Matlock here, and his wrestler name is Tornado Tom Teaspoon, also known as the Meteorologist. He's known around the business as the calm before the storm. He starts all of his matches by letting the audience know the weather, the temperature, all those good things they can expect when they leave the building. But when they're inside the building, he lets them know what he's going to do to the opponent that's facing him. He's going to hand their ass to them with a thunderous beatdown. And his finisher is called the Lightning Bolt, where he just shoots on you and punches you alive.
I thought it was going to be like a shoot lightning bolt.
I was thinking that, but I thought that'd be
Kane
too
used to
crazy.
bring them bitches from the sky. He caught that
I-
on fire.
I
That is
originally
true.
wrote he throws you into a volcano, so
Oh, well. Scratch that out.
yeah, so I was like, either way. So Tornado Tom Teaspoon.
That's a good last name. We'll drop that. Tornado Tom would probably work.
Come on, man, Teaspoon.
Yeah, that'll work on the indies, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. The only
Yeah.
thing next to you is your Tornado Tom.
Yeah,
That should have been Baron Corbin's gimmick.
yeah probably.
Fuck Baron Corbin, by the way, piece of shit.
I like you tweeted that and someone took you serious. Like,
Dude, fucking few people got upset about that.
Yeah.
All right, Tony.
I have Melee Hellbot, I think is how you pronounce it. Or
Yeah,
Melee
you're
Hellbot?
right.
I don't know.
I think that's right.
Melee's right, yeah.
So he's going to be Hellbot. That's his
Ooh,
gimmick.
shit, that's dark.
Half hell demon, half robot. Hellbot is the spawn of Satan. Because he was a terrible person when he died, he's dead,
Tough.
he was sent to hell. Although he's part demon,
All right.
heaven wanted him back, and they fused his body with a robot. So he's half demon, half robot. So he has one task to take down all the worst kind
He's an
of
android.
human scum inside the inside the squared circle.
The swirly.
If he can follow God's order, he will be turned into a full robot and allowed to enter heaven. Will
Damn, dude.
Hellbot destroy all that is bad in this world with the 1, 2, 3, or will he be sent back to hell forever? That's
That shit-
Hellbot.
That's dark as hell, Tony.
He came
Well,
back
his
to
name's
Earth
Hellbot, of course.
I
and
mean, that's pretty crazy.
went to school.
And his brother died.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's the kind of give I thought. He saw his
What
brother
was his
in hell.
finisher, actually?
Yeah, what was his finisher?
Shoot lightning bolt.
Oh, hell yeah.
Damn.
That's what's up, man. Just
Like
lose, you
Kane.
lose.
Damn, that's fucked up. He called it on the fly. I like it.
Yeah, that's dope.
No, that was written down. Hold on.
Oh, nice.
All right, what you got?
I had Corey Ballman, and I gave him the gimmick, Unrelenting Corey Morrison. His finisher is the up and down. It's the jackhammer. That's that move. His
The jack-
backstory.
up and down.
And he's bald. He's got tattoos.
Yeah, so
Where's black?
Hold on. His backstory here
Got a mullet.
is he wears the jorts and he's bald. His
braces.
backstory
You'll never let it down.
is that success wasn't exactly a word that Corey grew up on the right side of. He got kicked off the soccer team in school for being too aggressive. He got let go from his office job for getting in the customer's face for being a shithead cockmaster. Corey didn't let anybody step on him, even if it cost him the most. Thankfully, this sort of ruthless aggression, if you will, worked with him instead of against him in the professional wrestling ring, where Corey would string together wins with his famed finisher, the lightning bolts from the sky.
God damn it! Son of a bitch! You know, Tornado Tom's gonna have to do something about this. He can't let this stand.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, next.
All right.
All right.
I got. Oh, my turn?
It's me, motherfucker. You just
Nah, I was gonna go for lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt, Steve Austin.
Lightning Larry.
His brother died, and he shoots lightning bolts.
Lightning
All right,
Steve
mine-
Houston.
My next gimmick is Jardo. I think I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but Jardo is what
Maybe,
his
yeah.
real name is.
Sounds like it.
His gimmick name is Big Dick Richard Willie, and his mother died.
Oh, shit.
But also, Big Dick Richard Willie coming to the ring butt ass naked. Big Dick
Whoa.
Richard Willie has the biggest penis in professional wrestling.
Whoa.
Bigger than Too Cold Scorpio.
Whoa.
Bigger than Giant Gonzalez. Even bigger than the Big Show.
What?
He uses his massive dong to smack his opponents around,
Too Cold
crushing
Scorpio.
their skulls with repeated strikes to the head as he swings his dick around like nobody's business. His career was ended shortly, though, after a match with Timmy Pez, who sawed his dick right off, and then he died.
30 minutes.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
It's a tough career, man.
Yeah. You
The
know.
highest to highs when the
You got
biggest
a, you
dick
got
and
a,
lowest to
you
lows.
got a
and
bump
you
card,
die.
you know, when you fill it up.
Man, it's
Jeez.
tough. You can't just go butt ass naked.
Got a
You
dick
can't get on
card.
TV.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Definitely indie game.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes. You just be Big Dick Richard.
Yeah.
Oh. You're gonna love my gimmick, Johnny.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
fuck. I can't believe that you just did that gimmick.
Oh no.
Okay.
So my guy's name is Dan Hill. That's the Patreon backer.
Okay.
His
Okay, here
gimmick
we
is
go.
Big Mike Schlong.
Yeah, actually, my next gimmick was also
That's-
that.
Was all balls McGraw.
My next gimmick was big, fat, huge cock.
Cool.
I'm not even joking. I didn't even make that up. It's real down here.
Scrotum Jones.
Huge fucking.
Kayak
Big
penis.
sack. Jack.
Oh my god. Schloggy
All right,
doggy 4-5. That's my boy. Yeah.
Let's hear.
His finisher is the Jaeger bomb, which is an awesome bomb.
Okay.
Wait. Jaeger bomb's a real move.
No, it's
No,
not.
but he-
Fuck you.
That's
He just does the
Shimon
awesome bomb.
Martinez.
Nah, dude.
No one's watching ROH. Get out of here.
His finisher is his dick is big and
It's crazy.
penis jokes and partying, a lifestyle only people dream of having. This is a guy that guys want to be and girls want nothing to do with. He's the most cocky, arrogant prick around. He parties all night long and wrestles every night of the week. To Mike, the gimmick never stops. He's bringing back kayfabe. His social media and his interviews are in character. No one truly knows the real Mike Schlong.
They
His
just
matches
know
are
his
secondary.
dick is
He's got a fat nut.
His gimmick is them shorts be looking kind of crazy.
His matches are secondary as every time he gets in the ring, he cuts a 15-minute promo about his dick.
Sick.
He says, "Look at it." And then Jerry Lawler goes, "Ah!"
I'm dead. That's seriously, I can't
That's
believe he did it.
amazing.
That's ridiculous.
That's wow. Cool, man. Bottom of the barrel. That's fucking awesome.
My go?
All right, Pulse. Yeah.
All right.
your
You
turn,
guys will
buddy.
never believe.
His knee pads, bald
Oh my
head.
god! Don't tell me.
You would never believe this.
It's the penis genius.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh no.
No, his gimmick. Okay, so it was Hybrid Dreaming, and his gimmick is Big Money Briggs. Thank God I didn't do Big Penis Briggs. and his NXT gimmick.
Richard Johnson.
Yeah. Chris Jackson
Just
and his
sucks.
finisher in NXT is the big pile driver from the top. They could cut it to
He does Zangief's finish.
No, his gimmick is Big Money Briggs. His finisher is the double down. It's a 450 splash.
Nice.
His backstory. Briggs spent most of his life in and out of casinos. It wasn't too long before he had built up so much debt, so high with the wrong guys, that he just couldn't find a way out. That is until he found a quick paying gig in professional wrestling. Turns out that quick detour turned into a lifelong trip as Big Money Briggs would finally find an endeavor that he could win in.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Nice. It's that 450 looking like Austin Aries style?
Like,
How you doing?
not good.
Oh no, he's like doing
It's
a little.
like a 50-50 chance. I mean, he's a gambler.
Damn, always been on black.
Yeah,
Baby.
he's
Fuck.
going crazy. Oh yeah, and his
All
dick
right,
is huge, by the way.
That's why his 450's fucked up. He keeps telling him
too
to.
much, equilibrium in the air and all that.
All right, I got is it Alex Beamish or is it Beamish?
Both.
Yes.
Both. All right.
Yes, dubiously.
All right, gentlemen. Gentlemen, this is the story of a legendary professional wrestler named Jeremy Daniels. Jeremy spent his whole life preparing for wrestling. He trained with the best of them. He never missed a gym session. He was 255 pounds of pure muscle.
Damn.
Tanned like he was living on the sun. He was getting booked everywhere. Japan, Mexico, Japan again.
Ooh.
It seemed like the sky was the limit for old Jeremy until one day, a horrible, gruesome development changed the course of his career forever. 5 minutes from his home, a Taco Bell opened.
Is this my gimmick?
Jeremy
Tony
took
hated
one
this
step
gimmick so
into
much
that
he just
Taco
left.
Tony just left during my gimmick. He couldn't handle it. He said, I can't listen anymore.
So much he fucking left.
Jeremy took one step into that Taco Bell and it changed his entire life. It took 3 months, but he's now 432 pounds of cheesy gordita and sweat. And only gets booked in his local Fed because they consider him a veteran and they're afraid he's going to take liberties on them.
This is me. What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, yeah? It sounds a little familiar. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you forgot the last part. He has a huge dick.
And his brother died.
Tony got up. He said, fuck this shit.
Fuck you, Tony. What the fuck? Tony, what the fuck?
My dog started barking. I had to stop my dog.
Yeah.
Disrespecting Jeremy Daniels.
No, I ran as fast as I could. My dog was barking.
That's it. Oh, my God. All right. Neat. All right.
Wait, Tony's got
Tony,
one more,
you
right?
got one more, right?
Yeah.
Go
All right,
for
sorry
it.
about that. I won't leave any more. Freeze my camera.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, so I don't know how to pronounce it. Scrupafulmi Lupami P, aka Chainsaw. Not even joking. That's the full name. I'm not.
Okay.
All right.
So that's the name. That's his wrestling name.
Cool.
His brother died. His brother died. His dad had died. Now he must wrestle. That's all he knows. He will get revenge for everyone that killed his family. He comes to the ring with a real chainsaw. He'll saw your body parts out in minutes.
And he's got a fat ass dick.
You better not die, or you'll end up like his brother.
His finisher, the brother's daughter. And he goes crazy.
And the
brother's son.
pedigree.
That's my legit gimmick. I'm not even kidding.
Oh my god.
When you said chainsaw earlier and then schlong, I was like, man, both my gimmicks were taken by
Hey
Johnny.
man, maybe I'll give someone like a real gimmick next week.
Yeah.
Hey, I gave the hometown hero and Hellbot. Those are real.
I don't know, man.
I'm happy that I think everyone I gave a gimmick will be very happy. So.
I don't know, man. You gave someone just stone cold, wasn't it?
No, that was Red Hot Sean Texas. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
Red Hot Sean Texas and Steve Houston.
Joey Canoe over here.
Oh, yeah.
Joey Canoe.
All right,
Dude,
so
I don't know, man. Its gimmicks are pretty crazy. Good
Yeah,
job.
who won
wins?
who
I don't know
won the gimmick
this
this
one.
week?
That's tough.
Yeah, probably me.
I don't know, man. Mine, and I feel like mine inspired a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
Both
you were
penis
cool.
gimmicks win.
Yeah, you were cool till you said Too Cold Scorpio. His dick is unrelenting. First
Listen,
off,
man, this man, he
can't
wasn't
beat this
beating
man's
anybody with it, at
penis.
least not in the ring.
Ooh.
I don't know, man. He was going crazy for wrestling. No.
Todd is God.
All right, so let me kick it off. We got
Do it.
Lemony Liam, and his gimmick is Liam Lemons, and his finisher is Lemony Fresh, and that is
Oh.
a mousetrap pin. And his backstory: Liam Lemons, leader of the heel stable Evil, every villain is Lemons.
Oh shit! New stable.
Is fresh like pine saw and quicker than a barefoot jackrabbit on a hot greasy griddle in the middle of August. His lemony fresh pin catches everyone off guard and makes them smell better too.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
All right, so wait, are all your gimmicks a part of Evil, or is this just happens to be
No, he's the leader one. I did not put anybody
one
else
man
in
gang?
Evil.
Is that what
Yeah.
it's like?
Well, I mean, he has to find more lemon-based people. I mean, it's a hard thing to find.
I thought you were
Of
going to
course.
say he wears sunglasses and denim and he doesn't do a lot in the ring.
I already did that gimmick.
Fresh citrus, Lemony Liam. All right, I'll go.
Oh, I
next.
want to go.
Oh, he's fired.
You're going to
up.
have
I'll
a
go.
faction, aren't you?
No, I don't actually. Not this
Okay, well then you can go. I was thinking if you're going to do like a faction
No,
joint,
yeah, no.
you could
These
do
are all
last
individual
again.
competitors this week. Okay.
Okay.
I got good old Jimothy McDougal. And Jimothy McDougal in the wrestling world is known as Henry Percocet. Henry Percocet hails from Highland, Texas. Like most other wrestlers, he comes to the ring with the intent to beat his opponents up, win the contest, and pick up a fat paycheck at the pay window. But there's one thing that sets him apart from the rest, and that is his lifelong hatred of feet. He hates feet. Can't stand feet and toes and all that business. He just doesn't like it.
All
He
that
goes-
is.
James, I know this is hurtful to
Yeah,
hear
what
for
the fuck?
but Henry Percocet doesn't like the feetsies. He goes out of his way to attack the feet of his opponents with his moveset compromised mostly of feet and toe based attacks. He has two finishers. One called the amputator, which is the ankle lock, and the other is called the toe no mo, which is where he wrenches on a bunch of your toes and breaks them. It's disgusting, really.
Feet pervert.
Toe no mo.
Toe no mo.
All my homies at Wiki Feet don't like that one.
They hate Henry Percocet.
Shout out to Wiki Feet. It's like
No.
Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, WCW.
We're not shutting out Wiki.
Shout out Celebrity Feet.
No, take
I
these
can
back.
imagine.
No, don't listen to these.
James gets to WrestleMania. Shout out to Wiki Feet, my boys up at the top.
Yeah, I went to the Drew McIntyre where I put my hand out to the camera. I'm like, Wiki Feet, my boys. This is for you.
He's got a foot drawn on his wrist tape.
It's feet hours, boys.
All right,
He has
Tony.
Wiki Feet.
Yeah,
On
my
his
knuckles.
Damn it!
Oh man.
No.
Mine is Wiki Feet William Feet.
Williams Feeteroni.
Damian Rami, I think is how you pronounce that. Rami,
Okay.
R-A-M-I. He is the DC superstar.
Ooh,
He's from Washington, D.C.
okay.
And by way of, no. The biggest fan of pro wrestling, he would spend an insane amount of money to get the front row seat to the WWE shows.
Mark.
In fact, he would spend the same amount of money to get the same seat every week. He wears a green shirt and a brown hat, and he sits in the front row every Monday Night Raw. He hasn't missed a show in 7 years. He's always in the same seat. After attending so many shows, he knew that one day he wanted to be a pro wrestler. So one day while Baron Corbin was cutting a promo in the ring, he jumped the guardrail
Fuck Baron Corbin. Fucking bitch.
and delivered a lariat that took Baron Corbin down.
Oh.
The crowd went nuts, but he was rushed
Illegal.
by security and taken to the back. Vince McMahon himself, Mr. McMahon, saw this and he went up to DC and said, "You know what, kid? I usually get pissed when people jump the guardrail, but you got balls. Big balls."
Yeah.
Ruthless aggression.
I also
on,
hate
hold on.
Baron Corbin.
Bitch.
Fuck both of you because,
Pussy.
listen, you both shut up because
Sorry, I
Vince
don't
said, I hate both of you. You just killed I'm done. You killed my gimmick.
No, you're good.
Vince asked him, "Why did he jump in the ring, kid?" And the kid answered, "Ruthless aggression."
Oh, I thought he was gonna answer.
I'm
Wiki.
horny.
And then he
I'm
said,
hard.
He said, "You know what, kid? You're hired. Here's your WWE contract." Also, fuck Baron Corbin.
Did he drop
And
the
rest is
charges?
History.
Did Baron
And then
Corbin
they
drop
made
the
a movie
charges?
about it called The Main Event.
No, Baron Corbin never charged. He just got taken out. So
Oh, okay, damn.
Baron
So he
Corbin's
took
a
out Baron
mark, then. What the
Corbin,
fuck? Should have sued
and
that
that's
bitch.
We hate Baron
That
Corbin.
was it.
All my homies hate Baron Corbin.
Fuck Baron Corbin. You know what? I support. What was his name again? I support him beating up Baron
Yeah.
Corbin.
DC superstar because he's a
DC
superstar from
superstar.
DC.
Wow. There you go.
And his
Micah?
finisher's a clothesline. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I assumed.
Yeah, go on.
All right, Brian Wimmer. His gimmick is otherworldly Brian Weiland, and his finisher is from outer space. It's an avalanche pay dirt because that move
Nice.
kind of kicks ass. Backstory is in Brian's mind, he's from space. In everyone else's mind, they've seen him get hit in the head like every week for years. Whether Brian's outlook on his origins is concussion related or not, we'll find that out later. It doesn't matter to Brian because he's still otherworldly. Dun dun. This is a concussion-based gimmick. I actually got this from something I'll talk about later tonight.
My gimmick is I got brain trauma.
Yeah, I'll talk about that later tonight. I love that gimmick, actually. It's really good.
I hope you don't try to adapt that one.
No, it's already been done. I'll talk about it later.
No, you can't do it now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my next gimmick is for Lennon Riley, also known as Len Freak. He goes by the name of Randy Paprika, hailing from Motopia, Georgia.
Sick.
Motopia? He is an innovator in the pro wrestling game. His unique style typically throws off his opponents due to the way he handles himself in the ring. Randy is only ever seen walking on his hands from when he comes out through the curtain until the time he walks back through after the match. There's actual no footage of Randy ever standing on his actual feet. A lot of feet gimmicks this week for me.
Shout out to my boys at WikiFeet.
Yeah, you trying to say something here?
Using his legs and his unusual stance, he's able to keep his opponents guessing about what's coming next. His finisher is called the Upside Downer, where he springboards off the second rope with just his hands and uses that momentum to throw himself at his opponent and force him to flip backwards into a tombstone.
Ooh.
Yeah. Imagine that real quick.
And he sucks feet.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Oh, okay, shit.
He
Damn.
does not. He does not at all.
Fuck you.
All right, I got
Tony?
Sam P.
Mm.
Sam P is his name. Just
Okay.
the letter P. I'm assuming it stands for
P.
whatever his last name
Okay.
is. He is immortal. Sammy
Goodness.
the Diamond Flash.
Whoa, shit. He's got 6 nicknames.
2. Flash is his actual last name.
Say
Oh,
anything you
okay.
flash for the last one.
I like
He-
the idea that all of them are in quotes.
Yeah, me too.
Just
I
each
have
word.
Sammy and Flash in quotes, and the rest
Okay,
are not.
fair enough.
So immortal. Sammy the Diamond Flash.
I like
He's from Las Vegas, Nevada. He does a diving elbow as his finish. So Sammy Flash he's not that great of a wrestler, but he uses SEO to his advantage. Let me explain. You see, Sammy is on a new app called Uber Wrestle. When pro wrestling comes into town, they look for local talent to use on their shows. Whether it's a squash match, maybe looking for new talent to sign, they use Uber Wrestle.
Okay.
So when you read, when you log on, you sign up and say that you'd like to work for the company. So when someone needs talent, they go on the app and they get you. The wrestlers are randomly chosen from the app, but Sammy found an exploit in the app, found out that if you have 2 different nicknames, the app will match you automatically.
What?
So he gets matched. He races to the arena. He gets his match. I mean, he's a decent jabroni, but he gets work all the time because of that exploit. So he doesn't have a big contract yet, but hopefully Uber Wrestle will keep him in business and he can hit that flying elbow drop off the top.
That's fucked up. You just exposed this whole scam. Now he's not going to get booked
Yeah,
at
but
all.
to be fair,
They're gonna-
that's actually a cool gimmick. I actually want Uber Wrestle to be a thing.
Uber Wrestle
Wrestle?
sounds like an awesome idea, actually.
Actually,
Shit,
I'm
we
going
should-
to cut all that out, and we're going to make that.
Yeah, let's. Tony's gimmick is Sam Toe
Yeah,
Sucker.
Tony's gimmick is no nicknames, Sammy the Diamond Flash Killer X.
And he does an elbow
Mine
drop.
is
And he,
shout out to WikiFeet.
he watches XPW.
Yes, big fan.
Go
Mago?
on.
All right. Schmitty C. Shimmim Shinkin Lin, the 49th with 3 X's. Is this guy's
that his
name?
gimmick
That's
name?
not his
Oh,
gimmick.
okay.
That's his legal name.
Oh, right, okay.
His
That's a
gimmick,
shoot name, brother.
3
yeah,
X's.
his gimmick is El Hijo de Schmitty Warben Jagerman Jensen.
Huh.
His finisher is the Uno Bomb, which is a Gonzo
Okay.
bomb.
Yes.
And his backstory is inheriting his father's catchphrase, "He was number one." El Hijo de Schmitty Warben Jagerman Jensen looks to continue the legacy of his
El
family
Hijo.
by securing the #1 spot in professional wrestling. He was number 1.
What's his finish?
The Unabomb.
Oh, the Gonzo bomb. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a hat on and stuff.
El Hijo de Schmitty Warben
Does he look
Jagerman
just like his dad?
Jensen. He's not a
Just like his
skeleton.
dad.
He doesn't. He's not floating. In my mind, it's 7. That just
He comes to the ring. Yeah, they want to call me 7.
they want to call me Schmitty.
They want to call me El Hijo de Schmitty Warben Jagerman Jensen. My name's Chris.
This gimmick sucks. And so does his company. That's the first guy to walk out of Deadlock PW.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right, I have a gimmick for it. Dustin Kermer. He wrestles as Tito Fettuccini, hailing from the local... What are you laughing at?
No,
You got a
good.
pasta-based gimmick before.
No, this is not pasta
Yeah,
based.
gabagool.
I'm walking here.
You motherfucker.
Fuck your mother, and your mother's a bitch. Your mother bitch.
Your
Is that his
mother.
gimmick?
Gabagool.
No, this is completely unrelated.
Aw, boo.
Sorry, you can do that for one of yours.
Yeah, I'll
I
do
feel
it.
like I know what one of yours already is.
Me too.
This man real hungry. All right, here we go. Tito Fettuccini, hailing from his local arcade tournament, calls himself the frame-perfect athlete. After spending years on the fighting games community scene, Tito decided to take his love for fighting games and transfer that data into the squared circle. Tito studies wrestling much differently than anyone else, using his knowledge of frame data and hitboxes to come up with strikes and attacks
Oh,
that his
nice.
opponents never see coming. He is most known for his parries, being able to stop incoming attacks and turning them into devastating reversals. His finisher is the final Atomic Buster, a spinning pile driver off the top rope.
Oh, it should have been a spinning
Ooh.
atomic drop.
Zangief, boys, go on now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I get it.
My man.
I
Big
have,
ups to Fettuccini.
Fettuccini, gabagool. I'm walking.
Hey, you motherfucker.
I have Nitro Tombot, I believe, is
Okay.
his username on here. I went by Nick Tomb is his name.
Hmm.
He does the Tombstone Pile Driver. Calls it
Fuck.
the Nick Tombstone
Of course.
Pile Driver. He's a pretty good wrestler. He's got great ring psychology. He
Says who?
understands what it
Says
takes.
who?
He understands what makes a good wrestler, and everyone in the locker room knows that he thinks he's a great wrestler. He will constantly tell you how good he is, even though he's never in the main event. He's always held back by the man. If only he would get a chance, he would show everyone why he's the best. He goes out there and gives 100%. But to this day, he's never made it past the mid card. He works hard. He keeps working hard, but it hasn't paid off yet. Eventually, maybe one day it will pay off. But he was released by the WWE, unfortunately. But he got a phone call from Chris Jericho, who invited him on Talk is Jericho.
Baby.
Now it's time for him to shoot on the WWE, saying
Oh,
that
hell
everything
yeah.
could have been better.
He's got a
True.
He said he pitched a million ideas to Vince McMahon, but Vince was eating food, so they never got over. Jericho agrees and says Vince is a pumpkin-headed dipshit, and then he plugs man.
Yes, nice.
He's also a comedian on the sign named Dolph Ziggler.
And he likes
Damn.
gabagool.
Yeah, you motherfucker, I walk here.
And he's a motherfucker.
You
That's what
sleep
he
with
is.
the
And shout out-
fishes.
My next gimmick is this guy's a motherfucker.
Yeah, you motherfucker, yeah.
And shout out to Gabagool and
Yeah, you wanna gabagoo, hey. I walk here. That's gonna be my gimmick. I'm bringing
Your
the
and he
turn,
likes The
asshole.
Sopranos.
I'm bringing a little bit of
TV show.
that.
All
All right, my go?
Paul's next gimmick is
All right.
Hungry Man.
No, it's not. My
Oh,
gimmick
shit.
is Gordon Maston, and his gimmick is Center Gordon King. His finisher is Running Death. It's a Yakuza kick. And his backstory is always on the wrong side of a decision. Gordon King found himself on the verge of death after one horrible choice left him with nowhere to go. To pay penance for his sins, he was told by a godlike figure in his twilight to pin the wrongdoers of wrestling. Adopting the Running Death finisher, every pin counts towards a life worth living for Gordon King.
Damn, that's a bad motherfucker he is.
Yeah, in DPW, I'm going to bury him.
Just something about this guy I don't like.
He's not ready, brother.
Oh,
Oh my god. All right, my last one for this Segarino is, well, it's just my last one. I was like, Tony has one. Pulse has another one because we made him do 5 this week.
Yes, you did.
Tiger Masterson, whose wrestler name is Dwayne Juicer. Dwayne Juicer,
You got a
hailing...
juicer.
That's what his fans are called, the Juicers.
Any juicers?
Sweet.
Dwayne Juicer, hailing from the inside of his own head, was not only one of the most dangerous men in wrestling, but one of the most dangerous men in the world. With his unique ability to use his mind to hurt his opponents, with his intense studying of psychokinesis, Dwayne has been able to become one with his inner most destructive thoughts and use his brain to do all of the wrestling moves for him. He sat on the top turnbuckle as the crowd watches on in awe, while his opponents practically have a wrestling match with themselves. But his career went off the rails when he took his powers too far and used them to make one of his enemies climb to the top of a building with his brother and jump off and die.
And there's a volcano at the bottom.
His brother died.
And then he was arrested and died.
Yeah. Turns out if you kill somebody, you get arrested.
Yeah, there's actually laws still
Yeah,
outside the world of
repercussions,
wrestling,
yeah.
regardless. Yeah.
Wow.
That's like, you know how people say, like, oh, want a hard and no DQ match? Why don't you just shoot somebody? Because I'll go to jail. What the fuck?
Shoot him in the leg, bitch.
You can stab him with a claw if you're New Jack. It's fine.
All right, Tony.
I got Jack Briggs. His wrestling name is General Jack Briggs.
Oh.
He's from the United States of America, USA.
Boo!
His finisher is an
Fuck
ankle
this
lock.
guy.
Jack Briggs. His real
And he's
name
bald.
He got gold medals.
All right. Now you just kill my gimmick.
He does the ankle
And
lock.
his brother was Eric.
Yeah, he
and,
was.
his brother,
And his brother Eric got arrested for beating up a kid.
and his brother choked the kid.
But it's okay because the other dude wore a little hat. He like milk.
Okay, his real name's top secret, but Jack
Ooh.
did serve in the U.S. Marine Corps. He was a drill instructor from 1966 to 1973. You know,
Holy
it takes a
shit.
special breed of a heavy-duty honcho to keep the Marines squared away, you know?
True.
He served as a drill instructor where he learned how to wrestle. However, in 2010, Jack was actually accused of stolen valor. It turns
No.
out he wasn't even in the U.S. Marine Corps.
What
He
the
won't
fuck?
admit it, though, and he continues to wrestle as a vet to this day. Anyone that brings it up gets a shoot ankle lock.
Is that his finish?
And he also liked milk.
Excuse me. That was a Sergeant Slaughter rip off, not a
And
Kurt Angle.
he liked the Percocet.
Okay, here. Let me. Jack Briggs
Call
likes
me
feet.
Burt Angle. Call me Burt Angle.
Hold on. He likes feet and he's gabagool. Yes,
And
is that
he
over
does
with you?
that.
Hey,
Zane?
you motherfucker. I'm perking it.
Yeah, I'm working it.
All right, I should know my audience before I make these damn gimmicks.
And he likes to do the ankle
Yeah.
slam.
That angle lock.
You act like he's the only person that's ever done the ankle lock. Is Kurt Angle.
He
You guys
also
both
faced
suck.
Shaman Man at the King of the Ring.
Shout out to Wiki Feet.
He likes Wiki Feet too. This guy rules.
Damn, man. I'm sick of all these
Alright.
guys taking these feet, John.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, I get the final gimmick, right?
You get two.
Yeah.
All right. Tyler Joseph Smith.
You got 2, right? Or was it 1?
No, I just got one left.
You should have two.
Right,
dude.
yeah, no, you're right.
Oh, because he
He's
went
right.
first. He went
Yeah,
first.
he's
That's
right. He's right.
I have Tyler Joseph
good.
Smith. His gimmick is Hershey Harry Hardcock.
Oh,
His finisher is the Choco Bar Splash, which is it's an avalanche splash. His backstory is
Yeah?
his backstory.
Do we like him, though?
Yes, so his backstory is
He's over.
he's a 1930s German soldier.
and he's bald, and he's
And
got
that
gold
motherfucker
medals.
got frozen. Hey, I'm frozen over here.
Freeze over here. Where's the gabagoo? So he's also Italian. He's 50% white, 50% Italian, 50% German. Tyler Hershey Harry Hardcock carries a big chocolate bar down to the ring Because
you want me to sing his theme song?
Chocolate Man.
Harry Hardcock. Harry Hardcock.
Gabagoo. Because he's also Italian, 50% by the way.
Of course.
Harry Hardcock's obsession with chocolate is a hit with the ladies on Valentine's Day and a hit in the ring when he drops the Choco Bar Splash with a 1, 2, 3. He also wrestles with a very hard cock. And he's also a 1930s German soldier frozen in time. And he loves chocolate.
God. Whatever, dude. I bet if Skittles were chocolate, he'd like it better.
Motherfucker.
I'm walking here.
I'm perking here.
And he's also bald.
Yes, and he also wore a toupee once. I love this guy. Hershey Harry Hardcock is probably the most thought out character I've ever done. So,
Tony, you want to go first?
Sure. I have John. His name is
Yes.
John.
oh my god,
John.E.Ace.
the Crusher, the Ace Crusher.
He slept with Large Baba's wife.
John is bald. He has gold medals. He does the ankle lock. Okay, not really.
And he
Krangle?
he skateboards and
And
he
he's
does
blonde
the cutter.
and gorgeous.
He teamed with Masawa and pro
You guys
wrestling.
wonder why this game segment goes on for 4 hours? Because
Pro wrestling. No, I'm going home.
If the gimmick segment was just me and Paul's trying to talk shit during yours, I would do it every week.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, if it was just you doing all the gimmicks and I was just shitting on them.
sure, let me just copy every wrestler ever, and I'll just read it.
It makes me laugh every week, so I don't mind.
Same. All right, go for it.
Go on.
All right, John is from Detroit, Michigan. He does TKO as his finisher.
Motor City.
And his name is John. His gimmick is just John. Not just John, but John.
It should be just John.
Like just Joe?
Yeah.
Pain is a 4-letter word, but so is John.
True.
John to the Izzo, H to the Izn, is a former ghostwriter for 50 Cent who turned to wrestling when 50 Cent's career went down the drain.
Huh.
After learning rap from 50 Cent, he also learned street fighting. Wanting more street cred, J to the Izzo had 50 Cent shoot him in both of his kneecaps to prove he was tough.
Fuck.
They then made it look like a gang hit. I'm going to keep talking. He recovered, but the scars are still there to this day. He's a scrappy brawler who isn't afraid to go up against the rules to get his victory. Whenever J to the Izzo is in trouble, he just whistles, and D12 comes down to the ring.
Hernandez.
And that is JOH, and J to the Izzo is
Damn, that's a bad
H to the
motherfucker.
is in. Yep.
Damn, okay. All right, well,
50
my
Cent
gimmick
probably
is
doesn't
for-
take too kindly to being talked about like that.
no, you're probably right. 50 Cent probably don't like that. He's going to sue you.
Do you remember that tweet 50 Cent sent out that one time? It's like, I'm not taking out the trash, Grandma. I'm rich. That's how I try to live my life.
Can we do like the best 50 Cent tweets, please?
We
As a new
could.
segment?
Shaq and
Why don't we
50
get
Cent had all-time tweets. Kevin
We should
Durant,
get
too.
him on let's get him on the show.
Yeah, we probably could. Well, actually, Shaquille O'Neal's doing Papa John's now. He's too big.
Oh, pussy.
50 Cent probably taking out the trash for his grandma.
Naked grandma. Nigga, huh?
Naked grandma.
Naked grandma. Well,
All right. My gimmick is for Troy Moretti, and Troy is actually known as Theodore Hammett. Theodore Hammett hails from whatever city that Deadlock Pro Wrestling runs their next show. Theodore is DPW's
The
biggest
Nippon
competition.
Budokan.
He's from the Budokan.
He's from the
He's the-
Osaka Preview.
DPW's biggest competition, having started a wrestling company only 1 week after DPW launched their initial event.
Dickhead.
He even named his company with the same initials, DPW.
Dickhead.
Oh.
So many DPWs these days. He won't tell anyone what it stands for because he hasn't figured that out yet. Having mortgaged his grandmother's house to pay for everything. And he won't take out the trash.
Grandma.
Dickhead.
Naked grandma.
To get the company off the ground, Theodore will do absolutely anything he can to keep his newly found wrestling company afloat, which only has run 4 shows so far, and 2 of them only drew more than 20, like less than 20 people. So it's not doing that well. Theodore has gone on record to say that anything DPW can do, DPW can do better. There you go.
All right, my go.
All right, Pulse. Yes.
All right, I had OG Hazard. His gimmick is.
Don't do it. I know what you're gonna say, and I don't want you to do it. Just read what you wrote.
Yeah, I'm reading. I am reading. So his gimmick is Samuel
Shaw?
Smackdown.
Oh no!
Samuel Smackdown. His finisher is going in raw, and
Ew.
it is the Dino ass fuck move. That's a good move.
Describe that for us.
So Dino mounts you from behind, stares you in the eyes.
I'm writing this down.
Mrs. Bubba. Big Bubba.
Rogers. That's a big ball, man.
What has this show become?
Oh God, no.
So Samuel loves SmackDown and Raw a lot. He likes wrestling a lot. He will wrestle because he likes it a lot. His finisher.
He wrestles because he likes it a lot.
What else you guys need? What you want, my brother to die or something? He wrestles because he likes wrestling.
All right, great. That's cool.
And Samuel SmackDown is on Raw, and that's it.
What's his finish? Oh, his fast fuck.
It's
Okay.
going in Raw. Please, for the love of God.
Where's he from?
Osaka.
Was he? Corrigan.
Shane Kuba first ring.
Sumo. Oh.
Scuba Hall.
All right, Tony, you're up.
Oh my
is it
God, I'm
turn?
sweating. I'm sweating.
Dude, I'm telling you.
This is bad.
All right, I got Ben Conley. Ben
Nice.
Conley is the patron here. He is known as Strawberry Cassidy. Freshly jammed Strawberry Cassidy.
You're a fucking asshole.
He wears denim. He doesn't really try. He gives thumbs up. He wears a shirt with
He's
a picture
bald
of him on it.
and he does the ankle
He's
lock.
super, cool. He's super cool, and everybody likes him. There's Strawberry Cassidy.
Is that actually your gimmick?
Yes.
You're a fucking bitch.
Hey, okay, here, this is better. Ben Connolly, he likes wrestling, so he wrestles.
Yeah, what do you
at
need a
least the original.
fucking? You need a goddamn opera? The man's going out there to drop on his head.
Strawberry Cassidy.
His brother died. Orange Cassidy died. So
No,
he became
no,
wrestler.
you can't go back.
All right.
I never ended, dude.
Oh, sorry. All right.
His brother died.
His brother, Orange
Okay.
Cassidy. I don't get wrestling
good
anymore.
Freshly jammed. Strawberry.
All right, go,
All right,
Johnny.
my gimmick is for Zachary Jones, and Zachary Jones is known as Zactos. Zactos hails from the
brother.
skies. Zactos
It's a
is the
bird.
most intimidating star to ever step foot in the squared circle because Zactos isn't like any other talent. Zactos is a 7-foot tall man-eating chicken. His opponents cower in fear when Zactos leaps into the ring, looking his opponent up and down like they're his next meal. His finisher is the drumstick driver, which is like the awful waffle. Thankfully, Zactos puts down the piece of chicken he was eating all the way to the ring before starting the contest, but damn, that motherfucker's tall.
This big bird's finished.
No, he's a 7-foot man eating chicken.
This chicken's finish is a pile driver.
He's just a man-eating chicken. He just happens to be
Arise, chicken. Arise. That's his manager.
All right, Paul, go ahead.
Okay, so my gimmick is Kurt Grangle.
That's
his name. That's his
Oh,
name.
okay. I
His
see. Okay.
gimmick, on the other hand, is Kurt Angle, Kurt Gangle.
It is
His
actually
finisher is
Apple Cassidy.
the ankle lock and
no.
his backstory. No, I need a real gimmick I wrote for him.
All right, I'm with you.
All right, so I called him Top 8 Kurt Grangle. I actually like the name Kurt Grangle. It's silly. It's wrestling silly. I like it.
It's sure.
His finisher is the Algorithm Breaker. Is a Death Valley driver. Kurt Grangle is in everybody's top list on MySpace. He's on everyone's recommended on YouTube, and he's on everyone's feed on Instagram. He's kind of a big asshole, but people like assholes on the internet. He figured out exactly how to curate his content to hit exactly the right people he needed to, and this translated to the wrestling ring, where he was able to hit every single spot he needed to get a 5-star from Dave Meltzer. The Algorithm Breaker wasn't just a finish for him, it was a lifestyle.
Damn, that's deep.
Ooh. Algorithm
I like the
breaker.
part where everyone likes assholes.
It's true.
My favorite one.
My favorite finish is the Ace Crusher.
All right, Tony.
Which
All right, I have
my
Savage Aura. All right, dude.
Ooh.
What you saying? dude?
Ura.
Yeah, go ahead with your gimmick.
Savage Aura?
Ura.
Aura? Aura?
Titus O'Neil.
His gimmick is at Savage Aura.
Oh,
And
wait. His gimmick is his Twitter handle?
That is, yes.
Okay.
And his finishing maneuver is the Aura Fixation, which is a Tongan death grip. Love that move. And at Savage Aura only starts his feuds with people via social media. Using Twitter, he does a verbal smackdown online. He will tear you down in 140 characters or less.
He does
While
the
his
purple
whole account
Rainmaker.
consists while his whole account consists of E-Fed style promos where he tells you how cool he is and how much of a bitch you are. He will never actually wrestle you in the ring. Instead, he comes out to the ring with a microphone and tells you why his Twitter promo is better than yours and has the ref raise his hand.
And you know it.
He is currently undefeated because he is the judge.
Oh.
Most of his opponents don't even know they're in a match because he subtweets all of them. So he has they have no idea he's doing it.
Damn.
And he does the
There's-
Dream Valley Driver.
And there's at Savage Aura.
This guy sounds like a bitch.
Fuck him.
Whoa!
Does he wear scarves?
Yes.
Does he want to fuck your wife?
All of the above.
Okay. My next gimmick is for Braxton Freno. Braxton is known as William Wheelie. William.
Oh, here we go.
It's spelled William. Hailing from Western Europe, is one of the most popular superstars on the scene today, especially with the children. William not only comes to the ring riding a unicycle, but he rides it during his entire match. His balance is second
Excuse
to
me?
none. Yeah, somehow staying on the unicycle even when he's knocked to the ground or even when he's hit with a maneuver. William goes out of his way to not use the unicycle as a weapon because he doesn't want to break the rules. But it doesn't seem like he needs it. His finisher is called the Around the World, where he rides his unicycle on the top rope all around the ring before leaping off with a 630 onto the top of his opponent's head who is
with the
standing.
wheel?
No, he doesn't use the wheel, bro.
Okay, I thought he
That's
jumped to the
DQ.
top. I was about to say, what the hell? I thought he never gets off the wheel. I thought he never
He
gets
does
off
not.
the
No, he does not use the wheel.
Okay.
William Wheelie. That's that dude.
His finish should have been old school, and he uses the wheel and then just goes on the ropes with the unicycle.
Yeah, but that's not as impressive.
Yeah, I mean,
Akushi
it's kind of
just walked
aggressive.
the whole John.
Yeah. His finisher is he stabs you in the neck with a knife.
He runs you
wheel.
over, dead.
It reminds me of Family Guy where he's like he invented the unicycle or whatever, or the big bike with a huge wheel. And he's like,
Yes.
all right, now as long as you kids don't come over here with the sticks, just no sticks. And then the kids just with a bunch of sticks just go fucking the bike. He said, I expressly said no sticks.
Well, hopefully William Wheelie doesn't run into that problem.
Yeah, hopefully. My go?
All right, Pulse.
Oh, it's my last one too. I'm guessing your next couple are
It's
the last
all.
ones.
I think it's all of our last one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I have Jeremy Reichelt. His gimmick is the precursor, Jeremy Zena. His finisher is the demeanor alteration, which is
hell?
the FU.
Okay.
So Jeremy Zenos. Jeremy Zeno.
He's part of the lockdown crew.
Jeremy, let me read. Jeremy Zeno started off as a bodybuilder, half man, half robot, known as the precursor. Once he got signed to the big leagues, he became a little more known for his merciless defiance. One day, he started rhyming and decided to make a rap album where he became the professor of roughneck physics. And after he grew up more, he became known for 3 words: initiative, devotion, and admiration.
Wow.
And once he became big enough in wrestling to be in movies, Jeremy left wrestling to be in the Speedy and Ferocious series.
Whoa, that sounds like someone that was going to be my stepson.
Well, it's not.
Speedy and ferocious.
Well, sorry about that.
Didn't know that. Speedy and Ferocious.
I love that movie. That's my favorite.
Yes, indubiously.
Great.
And there you go.
All right.
That's
I got Christopher.
Oh, okay. Go on.
We'll just.
Yeah, fine. It's fine.
I want to see Speedy and Ferocious. Sounds good.
Initiative, devotion, and admiration.
I have Christopher Foster Palmer. He is known as
Beavis.
Blue. Listen.
Blue, listen.
No. Hold on.
Weird.
Blue Warm, Shane, Texas.
Who?
Blue Warm, Shane, Texas.
I'm so happy this segment's fucking dying.
Listen, his finish is a stunner. After his brother, Red Hot Sean Texas, died,
Oh my god.
Blue Warm Shane Texas followed
How'd he
in
die?
his footsteps.
That's one of DPW's guys. How'd he die? I feel like we should know that.
A volcano accident, of course.
Should have had volcano insurance.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
He followed
Have a good
in his brother's footsteps and became a pro wrestler. Shane is a cool badass. He beats up his boss. He's basically his brother, but different. And that is my final gimmick of all time.
That's probably the best way he could go out.
Fucking sucks.
That was the best
Bro.
way he could have gone out. I appreciate your callback.
I still got one.
It was very
Mine was
Johnny
a callback to
Gargano-esque.
the,
I
from
like
the Red
it.
Hot Sean Texas.
It was a story.
Yeah, the storytelling was immense.
I like the story.
It had volcanoes. Brother died.
my
Red Hot Sean
gimmick
made it
Texas.
better.
Is
The
for
Budokan.
Blake McMillan, who is my homie,
True.
OG New Legacy member Blake.
Ooh.
And he is known in the wrestling world as Hardline Bobby Balrog, hailing from wherever he can get his next fix.
He's on
He
crack.
is one of the most addictive personalities in the sport. Bobby Balrog loves cocaine.
Cool.
All the fans love to support his habits, too. Whenever Bobby's making his entrance, fans love to line up coke all the way along the barricade for him to snort.
Oh
along the
my
way.
God.
What
Where is it? This is the
Yeah,
other
it's crowd
DPW.
Crowd participant. Well, he's just jumped ship.
Yeah.
And when Bobby's done sniffing up that nose candy, he's fired up and ready to whoop some ass. This coked out maniac doesn't stop until his opponents physically cannot compete any longer, winning most of his matches by way of referee stoppage. His finisher is the Kokeshi, which is similar to Onma's Kokeshi, but he dives straight down on the top of his head from the top rope, spiking himself on his opponent.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I watched the product as well.
Not all Japan, but close.
It's in the same place.
Pro Wrestling, no, I'm going on.
Got to move to another country.
I felt like you were describing Mojo Rawley with the cocaine and everything.
It might be. That's hardline Bobby Ball.
Wrestle one-way ticket back home.
Oh.
Sendai, bitch.
Tokyo joking. I'm leaving.
Oh, fuck. Okay. No more gimmicks unless we get real desperate.
Abadoo. See you later. It was
Thank
fun.
you for all those that participated in the gimmick run. You are cemented in Deadlock history. And
Forever.
when we actually start a wrestling promotion, we will dip back into this gimmick folder. And
Now,
some of the
I'm
gimmicks we gave
personally-
you may become real people.
I'm personally waiting for Tony to make the 15-hour all gimmicks from Deadlock video.